His ambition is not small. This rule should be some kind of source power. But succeeding will not be that easy, Xuanhuang murmured softly. He remained calm within the darkness, in no hurry at all. For now, he only wanted to see how Xiao Yan and Yi Beijing would deal with this situation. Yi Beijing had merely strengthened Xiao Yan's power of possession. The one truly controlling that power was still Xiao Yan himself. Focus your will, my lord. You must believe in the Qimi clan's power of possession. It can do anything, Yi Beijing said slowly. As for her identity, she no longer seemed to be deliberately hiding anything from Xiao Yan. From the memories he had obtained through the 9 nether profound flame, everything pointed to Shurtong. The so-called reason she had brought his avatar here was clearly not just to lure him in. If that were all, it would be far too simple. Were the Extermination Bureau's methods really so crude and low-level? Of course, Xiao Yan had not yet recovered his avatar. Even so, he still felt that everything before him seemed too simple. Judging by the Extermination Bureau's usual way of doing things, there had to be some unexpected variable hidden within this. Xiao Yan could not say it aloud. He could only make himself even more cautious. Just as Xiao Yan was about to use possession on his seated avatar, he suddenly stopped. No. Something is wrong. The one I should possess is not this avatar. If Shurtong had arranged all of this, then this avatar was most likely the real bait. She had deliberately stopped him from taking it away earlier in order to provoke him and force all his attention onto the avatar. At that critical moment, Xiao Yan realized the problem. He stopped attempting to possess the avatar and instead turned his target toward the rule of darkness itself. To catch the thief, one must first catch the king. He wanted to see exactly what kind of trick was being played. Xiao Yan spread out his power of possession, allowing it to extend across the entire darkness. Even with Yi Beijing supporting him from behind, he was still unsure whether he could succeed. His soul power at the Hope Realm erupted with a rumble, carefully probing every inch of this place. But the deeper Xiao Yan searched, the more a sharp pain suddenly stabbed through his soul. His eyes snapped open, and he immediately staggered several steps backward. Go! This avatar cannot be taken. Xiao Yan once again sensed that something was wrong. Although he did not know what had happened just now, whatever it was had been able to heavily injure his soul in an instant. Yi Beijing did not doubt Xiao Yan. She immediately reached out to support him and brought him backward at great speed, intending to leave this pitch-black darkness. Xuanhuang! Yi Beijing called out, but there was no response. Xiao Yan frowned. His soul had already been injured, yet he still swept his soul power across the surroundings. His aura has disappeared, Xiao Yan said through gritted teeth. That damn bastard! I knew everything here was his doing. He even dared defile her mother, Yi Beijing said angrily. The atmosphere had clearly been tense, yet Yi Beijing's words almost made Xiao Yan unable to hold back a laugh. However, neither of them could laugh for long. After we entered, it took us about the time of 1 incense stick to find the avatar. But now, the time we have spent retreating has already exceeded 1 incense stick, Xiao Yan said. They had already spent longer leaving than entering, and their speed was even faster than before. Yet they still had not managed to escape. That meant they had already become lost. Xiao Yan immediately used the void-moving soul, preparing to cross space directly and leave. With a wave of his hand, a spatial rift appeared. Xiao Yan grabbed Yi Beijing's hand and pulled her into the crack. But after passing through the rift, the world before them did not open up. It was still filled with darkness, thick as ink that could not be dissolved. They had still failed to escape. At that moment, it felt as if they had entered the Dream Master's dream realm again. By this point, Xiao Yan knew that Shurtong's game had truly begun. Then he felt the warmth in his hand vanish. A moment ago, he had clearly been holding Yi Beijing's hand, but now she was nowhere to be seen. What exactly is going on? Could it be that Shurtong is not only targeting me? Is she also playing with Yi Beijing and Xuanhuang? Just as Xiao Yan was thinking, streaks of gray-white sword energy suddenly attacked from all directions, forcing him to dodge. Fortunately, the sword energy did not last for long. Soon, the darkness returned to silence. Ignoring the injuries to his soul, Xiao Yan continued to use the void-moving soul, traveling through the darkness again and again as he tried to find a way out. Inside the darkness, Xiao Yan could only feel the passage of time. No one knew how long had passed. He had already tried every spatial node, yet he still could not escape. The rules of this place were extremely strange. There was no fixed pattern. Everything seemed completely chaotic. And after every period of time, Huacan's sword energy would appear, each wave stronger than the last. Xiao Yan kept dodging while suppressing the blood and energy churning inside his body. How does it feel? A sharp, crazed laugh suddenly rang out from within the darkness. Xiao Yan could not see any figure. But judging by the voice and the fact that it could appear here, there was no one else he could think of except someone from the Extermination Bureau. You will not escape. This dark chaos was specially prepared for you. What a pity, respected one from Shanxi. What do you want? Xiao Yan asked coldly. What do I want? What else could I want? I only want you all to play here for a while. Stay here for 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, or perhaps forever. Forever unable to leave. The sharp voice continued to echo from the darkness. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. He had most likely guessed what Shitong was trying to do. Shitong, how were you so sure they would come with me? Xiao Yan asked. So he had only been a supporting piece. Shitong's true targets were Yi Beijing and Huacan. The chessboard is only so large. No matter how many variables there are, some things can still be predicted. Don't you agree, respected one? Shitong knew Xiao Yan's identity and seemed to be deliberately matching wits with him. Wait. How did you know I am Shitong? A surprised voice came from within the darkness. Xiao Yan should not have been able to see her. Even if he could, the name Shitong was something used only among members of the Extermination Bureau. Did you tell them? Shitong asked. Yi Beijing has no hope, so you are forcing Huacan, Xiao Yan said, ignoring her question as he continued testing his own guess. As expected of the respected one. You are still clever. It should be soon. That fellow is about to lose control. He, this is getting interesting. Here it comes. Here it comes. His aura is rising. The voice in the darkness sounded like that of a lunatic. It was sharp and piercing, making anyone who heard it feel restless and disturbed. A powerful sense of danger instantly enveloped Xiao Yan. Shitong's voice also disappeared. Xiao Yan immediately activated all the source power in his body. The nirvana flame gathered around him, and every bit of his strength turned into protection around his body. He stared into the darkness. The entire dark space looked like a sheet of paper, slowly being cut open from the distance. He fell for it. He finally fell for it. Shitong's voice once again spread through the darkness. Xiao Yan's brows tightened. What exactly was Shitong doing? Could it be just as Yi Beijing and the fresh fire demon concubine had discussed before? Was this the shackle from the seventh path, where the one who restrained it would disappear? The entire darkness was sliced apart by one sword strike. At the same time, an incomparably terrifying force swept outward, instantly destroying the nirvana flame and all the defenses in front of Xiao Yan. This sword could even cut open the rule of darkness. How could Xiao Yan possibly withstand it? The nirvana flame continued collapsing. Deep wounds appeared all over Xiao Yan's body as the scattered sword energy tore into him, exposing bone. Blood splashed everywhere. He. Then you can all enjoy what comes next. Shitong's voice sounded from the side again. The darkness disappeared for a brief moment. Xiao Yan knew this was the best chance to retrieve his avatar. Otherwise, under Huacan's sword energy, it would definitely be reduced to ashes. Xiao Yan's soul power suddenly spread out. He had still not fully recovered from the unknown injury earlier, but within the sweeping sword energy, he finally sensed the location of his avatar. Ignoring everything else, he used the void-moving soul and crossed space. His figure suddenly appeared in front of that withered body. The star mark on its forehead had already dimmed. At this moment, it was no different from a dried corpse. No matter what, he had to take it away first. But just as Xiao Yan stretched out his hand and was about to touch it, the withered avatar, which already had almost no life left, was suddenly struck by some unknown force. It shattered in front of Xiao Yan with a thunderous blast, turning into a cloud of powder. Xiao Yan's pupils shrank violently. He suddenly raised his head and saw a ghost-like figure floating not far ahead. Above that figure was a mask. On the mask, a strange symbol resembling an eye slowly rotated. These bloodlines should have been buried long ago. They should never have existed in the first place. They should all be erased. Don't you agree, respected one? Shutong's eerie voice drifted over. Xiao Yan's 5 fingers clenched tightly. Killing intent erupted from his body, almost turning solid. Are you angry? So what if you are? You cannot catch me, and you cannot kill me. Shutong's shrill laughter pierced Xiao Yan's mind like countless needles. The original god avatar had accompanied him for most of his journey. With the help of this avatar, he had survived countless dangerous battles. Although it was only an avatar, Xiao Yan had still developed deep feelings for it. In the end, it had scattered into nothing right before his eyes. That emotional pain was even more intense than the loss of an avatar and its power. There were also the ancestors in the star realm, and the promise he had made to them. He had failed them. He had failed the trust of the original god ancestors. But now, facing the destruction of his avatar, what could he do? Just as Shutong had said, he could not catch her, and he could not kill her. He could only watch helplessly and endure this humiliation. At the same time, Huacan's gray-white sword energy swept over him. Xiao Yan spat out several mouthfuls of blood in succession. Both his mind and body suffered heavy injuries as he was sent flying backward by the sword energy. The 9 nether profound flame appeared behind Xiao Yan and released its source power to help him resist the sword energy. At that moment, Xiao Yan's arm was suddenly grabbed. He turned his head sharply and saw that it was Yi Beijing. We have to leave immediately. Yi Beijing's brows were tightly furrowed. It was rare to see her look so serious, and her expression was extremely grave. All right. Xiao Yan was somewhat dazed. He still had not recovered from the pain of completely losing his original god avatar. It was only an original god avatar. The bloodline already flows in your body. If we do not leave now, we truly will not be able to escape. Yi Beijing's eyes grew heavy. At this moment, the darkness had been cut open, making it the best chance to leave. Xiao Yan gritted his teeth. With a wave of his hand, the void-moving soul appeared. He brought Yi Beijing into it. In the next instant, their figures appeared outside the darkness. They had finally escaped from it. When they looked back, it seemed as though the entire world had been cut in half. At that moment, a cold light shot out from within the darkness at terrifying speed. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed. He immediately prepared to defend himself. But the cold light suddenly stopped. Only after looking closely did he realize that it was the Dongji sword. The Dongji sword hummed, containing an astonishing amount of sword energy. This time, we truly owe him a great favor. I just do not know whether he can survive, Yi Beijing said. Xiao Yan was utterly shocked. What exactly was going to happen? Could a powerful being like Hua can really fall? If that was the case, then he had not acted out of impulse. He had drawn that sword strike to help them escape. What exactly are you all hiding? In the end, Hua can actually became the one who helped us. It is truly hard to tell friend from foe, Xiao Yan murmured. This trip had been for the sake of retrieving his original god avatar. But in the end, he had failed at the final moment and completely lost it. Yi Beijing seemed to want to speak but stopped herself. In the end, she still did not answer, as if she was afraid something might hear her. Let's leave first. That is all we can do for now. Although he had lost the original god avatar, fortunately, he had obtained another powerful flame source. The 9 nether profound flame, ranked second in the 9 heavens divine realm. However, to Xiao Yan, the role of the original god avatar was irreplaceable. Before leaving, I still need to make one trip to the Supreme Ring, Xiao Yan said. Although his original god avatar had been destroyed, there was still a female original god in the 9 heavens divine realm. Yi Beijing did not stop him. She left with Xiao Yan, and together they departed from the lowest layer. Using the void-moving soul, they swiftly traveled to the Supreme Ring and arrived inside Huacan's white jade capital. Beneath the vast sky, fortunately, Everything remained unchanged. They entered the palace where the female original gods were located. When they walked inside, there had originally been 3 women and 1 man. But now, only 1 person remained in the palace. It was the one Xiao Yan had mentioned to Huacan before, the one he wanted to take away, Yu Shi. So Huacan had already calculated that things would come to this, Xiao Yan murmured. His gaze turned toward Yu Shi. She slowly stood up. Only then did Xiao Yan discover that her belly was already swollen. She is pregnant. Did you do this? Yi Beijing turned her head and looked at Xiao Yan in shock, somewhat annoyed. No, it did not happen that way. I only took out some essence, Xiao Yan hurriedly explained. How did you take it out? Yi Beijing stared at Xiao Yan seriously. Let's go. We need to leave quickly. Xiao Yan looked at Yu Shi and did not want to continue answering Yi Beijing's strange questions. Yu Shi stood up and looked at Xiao Yan, but there was actually some hesitation in her eyes. You are unwilling to leave? Xiao Yan asked. Where can I go? Is there still any place in this world that can shelter my original god clan? Yu Shi asked. Her eyes had no light in them, only dead silence. I came here to find you because I hope to continue the original god bloodline. My avatar is dead. You and the child in your womb may be the last bloodline of the original gods. If you do not leave, your clan will be completely destroyed. Xiao Yan's expression was grave. He had not only promised the original god ancestors, including Shuremo and Zhu Gu, but the original god clan had also helped him. Therefore, he had to help them. No matter what, he had to help. Although he could not guarantee whether he could protect them after going to Shinxi, he still had to try. Can I trust you? Yu Shi murmured. In this world now, he may be the only one who can save your original god clan. If even he cannot do it, then your clan would have been doomed anyway. Yi Beijing stood at the side with her arms crossed. Although she did not look very happy, she still spoke up to help Xiao Yan. I will do everything I can, Xiao Yan said, cupping his fists. He did not act superior. Facing the remaining original god and considering the existence of his original god avatar, both emotionally and logically, Xiao Yan should help them. It was just that Yu Shi was now pregnant, and he did not know what kind of situation might arise. Xiao Yan also thought of what Shurtong had said. For the child in Yu Shi's belly to be born would probably be extremely difficult. The destruction of the vast expanse and the decline of the original god clan were definitely not things that a single world or a single powerful being could accomplish. This was obstruction from a higher level of power. The beings in the chaotic divine realm did not allow the original god clan to exist. What exactly did the original god clan do to provoke such wrath? Why would someone go so far as to annihilate the entire vast expanse world? Xiao Yan muttered inwardly. He did not ask, because perhaps even Yu Shi did not know the answer. For now, the most important thing was to leave the 9 heavens divine realm first. Where do we go next? Yi Beijing asked. I need to enter seclusion first. Would the immortal demon ancient realm be suitable? Xiao Yan looked at Yi Beijing. When Yi Beijing heard this, a smile immediately appeared on her face. You are willing to return to my family? Yi Beijing smiled shyly, like a bride who had not yet passed through the door. Xiao Yan's gaze turned back to Yu Shi. If she truly did not want to leave, he would not force her. Have you thought it through? Do you want to leave with me? This is the last time I will ask, Xiao Yan said. Yu Shi paused for a moment, then her gaze became firm. She stood up and nodded heavily. The 3 no longer hesitated. Yi Beijing brought Xiao Yan and Yu Shi away from the 9 heavens divine realm and headed for the immortal demon ancient realm. The reason Xiao Yan did not immediately return to Shinxi was because he had several considerations. First, he needed to see whether taking Yu Shi away would bring disaster or draw obstruction from the Extermination Bureau. In the immortal demon ancient realm, Yi Beijing would at least be there, giving him another layer of protection. Second, he had to consider his own strength. He had failed to retrieve the original god avatar and had completely lost it. Xiao Yan was certain of this because when he had approached the avatar, the undeniable connection between them had not been false. Therefore, what Xiao Yan needed to do now was further refine his true body instead of allowing it to remain where it was. Although his main body was not an original god, and had only cultivated through the bloodline he had obtained, reaching the level of his original god avatar would be unimaginably difficult. Even if it could be done, it would definitely not happen in a short time. Most importantly, he wanted to rely on Yi Beijing to learn more clearly about the current situation in Shanxi, as well as to gather more detailed information about Su Zhu. He had to prepare for his return to Shanxi. He absolutely could not return rashly. Without the original god avatar, it was as if Xiao Yan had lost his sharpest weapon. He needed to make the most complete preparations possible. He might even have to make a trip to the Western Heaven Profound Realm and negotiate with a surviving Demon King to see whether he could borrow its power. In the immortal demon ancient realm, 3 figures emerged from the twisting space. "My lord, how do you plan to arrange things next?" Yi Beijing did not act on her own. Instead, she respected Xiao Yan's choice and followed his will. "Senior Yi Beijing, is there a Qimi clan in Shanxi?" Xiao Yan asked seriously, his gaze locked on her face. Yi Beijing hesitated for a moment. Xiao Yan immediately said anxiously, "There is no need to lie to me. Senior, you can speak directly. Even if there is, I can understand." "There is not," Yi Beijing said, shaking her head. "I do not believe that." Yi Beijing immediately looked at Xiao Yan with a strange expression. It seemed that in the 9 Heavens Divine Realm, far too much about the Qimi clan had been exposed. The ones in the 9 Heavens Divine Realm were only beings once possessed by the Qimi clan. They were not actual members of the clan. In Shanxi, there is no Qimi clan. If you need information about Shanxi's recent situation, I can help you investigate. Yi Beijing seemed afraid that Xiao Yan would continue asking about the Qimi clan, so she took the initiative and offered to help him solve a more immediate problem. If Senior can find out some information about Su Zhu, that would naturally be best. Xiao Yan smiled and cupped his fists. Su Zhu is a powerful expert who rose later. It is said that he only used 10,000 years to break through to the 6th level of the Heaven Stepping Realm and pushed Su Qian Tai down from the throne. "You should already know this," Yi Beijing said slowly. Xiao Yan did not speak. His gaze remained fixed on her face. "Senior, can you tell me more details? You definitely know more. This is extremely important to me." Looking at Xiao Yan's complicated gaze, Yi Beijing paused. He should have hidden his strength. It is not merely the 6th level. When Xiao Yan heard this, his brows furrowed slightly. He had already expected that Su Zhu's strength was not simple. Someone capable of completely suppressing Su Qian Tai could not possibly be ordinary. "I may need to borrow the power of the immortal demon ancient realm to cultivate," Xiao Yan said, cupping his fists. "Do as you wish. In any case, I do not have that kind of righteous spirit you have. Whether things are destroyed or not has nothing to do with me," Yi Beijing said with a shrug, showing that she did not care. "But there is no need to rush. We should return to the Myriad Saint Hall and rest first. There is also a pregnant woman here. You should settle her properly first." Xiao Yan nodded when he heard this. Although she had never had a relationship with him, and the child in her belly had no direct blood connection to him, that child was inevitably tied to Xiao Yan by countless strands of karma. On a deeper level, this was essentially his child. "This is your child. Are you really not going to acknowledge it?" Yi Beijing looked at Xiao Yan and raised her brow. Xiao Yan gave a dry cough. Although that might be true, he did not know Yuxi at all. They had only exchanged a few words. "Let's go. We will return to the Myriad Saint Hall first." Xiao Yan knew what Yi Beijing intended. She was afraid he would suddenly disappear here. Soon after, Xiao Yan activated the void-moving soul and quickly traveled toward the Myriad Saint Hall. After the 3 of them safely arrived in the immortal demon ancient realm, the lowest layer of the 9 Heavens Divine Realm became extremely lively. Gray-white sword energy roared through the world. It seemed as if heaven and earth had been forcibly cut in half. Huacan held his sword in hand. His hair was disheveled, and his eyes were filled with blood vessels. "You could not take them away back then, and you still cannot take them away now. If I refuse, none of you can do it." There was nothing in front of Huacan, yet he shouted at empty air like a madman. The entire dark chaos had been chopped into pieces. but an invisible force came from all directions. The sword energy Hua Can released suddenly shattered with a loud crash. Above the sky, a beam of light descended violently. A powerful suction force came from within it. The long sword in Hua Can's hand trembled. His gaze was incomparably firm. "Swords come!" Hua Can roared. It was as if he had summoned every treasured sword in the world. Inside the supreme sword white jade capital, countless sword lights surged out like a spell, howling through the air in numbers too vast to count. Not only that, all the treasured swords in the 9 heavens divine realm seemed to obey his command at that very instant, flying out together. "My sword! Where are you going? Come back! Who summoned my sword away?" No one knew. And there was no choice left. The entire 9 heavens divine realm was thrown into an uproar, trembling madly as if the end of the world had arrived. The clearest sign was the chaos of its laws. Day and night reversed, mountains collapsed, and the earth split apart, all for the sake of taking away this powerful figure. No one knew how much time passed before the 9 heavens divine realm finally began to calm. In the lowest layer of the world, space looked like a shattered mirror, broken into countless fragments. Only that beam of light remained, along with the figure suspended within it. Behind him floated countless treasured swords. As far as the eye could see, there was only an endless sea of blades, covering the sky and blotting out the sun in a vast and majestic formation. They gathered together, taking Hua Can as their master, overlooking all things with proud sword energy. "With this sword, I do not care whether you are a god or some other existence. If I intend to cut you down, then I will cut you down." Hua Can slowly raised his arm. All the long swords rapidly gathered toward his 2 fingers, countless treasured blades merging into one. Cut! Resisting that terrifying suction force, Hua Can had no choice but to attack. He was already getting closer and closer to the beam of light. Once he was pulled inside, the consequences would be unimaginable. No one knew what would happen. This strike was powerful enough to annihilate heaven and earth. If Hua Can had not concentrated all of its power, no one could have known how devastating its lingering force would be, or whether this world could even withstand it. Tens of thousands of swords merged into a single gray-white sword aura that pierced through chaos and tore apart the laws themselves. It shot into the sky and slashed fiercely toward the mysterious beam of light. No sound could describe the collision at that moment. It was the ultimate confrontation between pure rule force and what seemed like a will from an even higher plane. Light devoured everything. Space was thrown into absolute darkness, twisting violently, shaking, and then collapsing inch by inch. The lowest layer of the 9 heavens divine realm had always been made of darkness, chaos, and uncertain laws. Now it was as if it had been thrown into a furnace of doomsday. Its rules completely crumbled. Time and space lost all meaning here, leaving only pure law force raging wildly and erasing everything. Hua Can's figure became the center of this storm of destruction. That attack, which gathered the will of 10,000 swords and burned away everything he had, truly shook that irresistible, sharp beam of light. The beam flickered violently, as if seized by an invisible giant hand. It was pulled apart, torn to pieces, and finally let out a silent cry before collapsing with a thunderous crash. "It seems I have succeeded once again." The moment Hua Can finished speaking, the shattered beam of light suddenly appeared above his head. In an instant, his life force was stripped away madly. The violent pain was so intense that even he could no longer endure it, and a deafening roar burst from his throat. His tall, straight body gradually hunched over, as if he had suddenly borne the crushing weight of endless ancient years. Starting from the roots of his hair, a glaring snow-white color spread rapidly, like harsh winter covering an entire forest overnight. His full cheeks sank invisibly. His skin lost all elasticity and became covered with deep grooves, like dry, cracked earth. Those eyes, once sharp as swords and burning with unyielding fighting spirit, now became cloudy and dim. The blood-red intensity faded away, leaving only bottomless exhaustion and a trace of confusion. A stifled groan, suppressed to the extreme, escaped from Hua Can's cracked lips. A price. This was the price he had to pay for staying behind. His cultivation realm had not been affected, but from the words, divine immortality, the word immortality had been taken away. "My lifespan is almost gone." Hua Can's voice had become hoarse. If Xiao Yan and Yi Beijing were here now, they might not have recognized him at first glance. Was paying such a price truly worth it? His voice, like sandpaper scraping together, echoed clearly through the dead and shattered space. Hua Can, who had been arrogant and untamed all his life, had fallen to such a state. He waved his hand and put on a bamboo hat. Even the divine sword beneath his feet turned ordinary, as if he feared being recognized. With a thought, he stepped onto the flying sword and left this place. As for the chaotic fractured space, no one knew how long it would take before it slowly recovered. Only by breaking can one be remade. One day, my sword light will cut open this heaven and earth. His final voice spread through the void and lingered for a long time. In the darkness, after Hua Can left, the rippling surface that had been stirred up gradually returned to calm. In the end, it would still be repaired by the laws of the world. Wonderful, wonderful. This play was truly perfect. The sovereign lost an important avatar, and Hua Can lost his immortality. Only that girl from the Shenwu bone ring is the cleverest. Even so, I still managed to fool her once. But it does not matter. There will be plenty of chances. How delightful. I must call a meeting and share everything that happened with those other foolish fellows, so they can enjoy this brilliant play as well. Don't you think so? Within the chaotic space, two figures unexpectedly appeared. One of them was vague and unstable, with only the mask on his face appearing somewhat clear. Beside him stood another figure. If Xiao Yan saw this figure, he would surely risk everything to fight him. It was none other than his primordial spirit avatar. Its blood and energy were powerful and abundant, and the white star mark belonging to the ancient primordial spirit clearly flickered between its brows. Such a powerful avatar. I will let it develop its own intelligence, then nurture it myself. When the time comes, I will present the sovereign with another excellent show. Although it has not happened yet, I can already imagine the surprised look on his face. If he cannot defeat it, he will kill it. If the sovereign wins, then I will make this avatar scatter into ashes right before his eyes once again. Excellent. Truly excellent. Shu Tong's voice spread out. But at that moment, a cold gleam suddenly shot toward him. You dare do such a thing in my 9 heavens divine realm? A shout that shook heaven and earth came from the horizon. The cold light pierced through Shu Tong, but it caused no harm at all. So it is Joyang Heavenly Venerable. Heavenly Venerable, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? Shu Tong's strange, mocking voice rang out. Of course I am going to kill you. Show your true body and fight me. The voice had become old and hoarse. Though it lacked some of its former grand righteousness, it still carried the same natural domineering aura. Heavenly Venerable, have you forgotten who I am? You know very well. If you truly want to kill me, it is simple. Point your sword at your own heart, stab it through, and then burn yourself to death with that ridiculous sword energy of yours. In that way, I will vanish into smoke and disappear from this world forever. Heavenly Venerable, what is that expression? Do you not believe me? Shu Tong's voice sounded again and again. Looking at the aged Hua Can, and seeing the confusion and doubt in his eyes, Shu Tong let out another strange laugh. Stop spouting nonsense to disturb my sword heart. What does my true self have to do with you? What do you remember, and what do you not remember? Hua Can waved his sleeve and spoke in a deep voice. Good, good. Then listen carefully as I call out. Shu Tong became even more excited. Sword, come. From behind the mask came a sharp shout, and the voice was exactly the same as Hua Can's. As the voice rang out, countless treasured swords whistled through the air and gathered behind Shu Tong. How about now? Heavenly Venerable, who do you think I am? But you came at just the right time. This avatar of the sovereign now belongs to you. As for how you use it, that is up to you. I believe you will not be foolish enough to return the avatar to the sovereign. Of course, even if you do return it, it does not matter. After Shu Tong finished speaking, the primordial spirit avatar seemed to lose all consciousness. On its brow, there was also a slave sword mark that belonged uniquely to Joyang Heavenly Venerable. Only, when Heavenly Venerable returns it, with the sovereign's intelligence, do you think he already saw through the truth of that fake avatar? And if Heavenly Venerable clearly knew it was fake but did not tell him, choosing instead to conceal it, then why was that? Huacan said nothing. Shu Tong's voice continued to come from beneath the mask, making Huacan's brows furrow even more tightly. Although I did it flawlessly, that fake primordial spirit avatar did not have the slave sword mark on it. Why did Heavenly Venerable not say anything? Or perhaps you had selfish motives from the very beginning and wanted to obtain this primordial spirit body for yourself. Enough! Noisy thing! Huacan shouted angrily. With a wave of 2 fingers, a cold gleam swept toward Shu Tong, attempting to shatter his mask. The moment the sword energy approached, it seemed to strike Shu Tong directly, but it was like hitting a reflection in water. It left no trace behind. Heavenly Venerable, why be angry? This primordial spirit avatar of the sovereign was something I carefully preserved for you, step by step. As long as you say nothing, then it has long since ceased to exist. I hope Heavenly Venerable will make good use of it. Shu Tong's figure had already disappeared. From the darkness, his voice drifted faintly, growing farther and farther away until it vanished completely. The aged Huacan flung his sleeve and snorted coldly. What use would I have for this avatar? If I truly kept it, then the rumor Yi Beijing spread about me having a preference for men would truly be confirmed. Absolutely not. Huacan's gaze fell on the unmoving primordial spirit avatar before him. At this moment, its soul was completely suppressed, and all the blood and energy within its body had been sealed. Not even the slightest aura leaked from it. Damn this situation. He actually wants to frame me. But why did that voice sound so much like mine? Is there a missing period in my memories? Huacan stood with his hands behind his back and remained there for a long time. Only after quite a while did he finally leave with Xiao Yan's primordial spirit avatar. Forget it. This avatar still has to be returned. But before returning it, I can make a little use of it. After saying this, Huacan waved his hand and tore through space with the primordial spirit avatar. In the Wanxing Grand Hall, Yi Beijing led Xiao Yan and Yu Shi inside. The hall was very quiet and empty. Clearly, no one usually dared to step into it at all. If I remember correctly, your name is Yu Shi, right? Xiao Yan looked at the unfamiliar face before him and asked softly. Yes. Yu Shi nodded. There were 2 women and 1 man in the hall before. Why are you the only one left inside? Xiao Yan had not had time to ask before, but now he found it extremely strange. They were all taken away by the Heavenly Venerable. Only I was left in the hall and forbidden to leave. Yu Shi shook her head. Xiao Yan frowned. He was not only concerned about the primordial spirit avatar. He also felt that something was wrong. His gaze then turned toward Yi Beijing. He still remembered the battle with Huacan, and the way he was later taken to that mysterious place. His avatar had indeed appeared there, but then Shu Tong had suddenly appeared and destroyed it. Yi Beijing had forcefully taken Xiao Yan away, then brought him back to the hall to pick up Yu Shi. Was all of this reasonable? Obviously, it was extremely unreasonable. Lang Jun, do you suspect me? Yi Beijing was exceptionally clever and instantly understood Xiao Yan's gaze. What exactly does Huacan want to do? What are you hiding from me? Was it all for the sake of taking away my primordial spirit avatar? Although Xiao Yan was somewhat angry, he still maintained basic courtesy. Lang Jun, you misunderstand. If you do not believe me, we can return to the 9 Heavens divine realm right now. Yi Beijing spoke. Good. That is exactly what I intend to do. Xiao Yan nodded. Yi Beijing had not expected him to agree so decisively. She only wanted to know why he was so eager to leave. The avatar shattered by Shu Tong had indeed allowed Xiao Yan to sense the connection between them, but he had never truly touched it before Shu Tong destroyed it. Now Xiao Yan genuinely suspected that everything had been Huacan's plan, and that Yi Beijing might also have participated in it. What about her? Yi Beijing looked at Yu Shi. Is the Wanxing Grand Hall not safe? Xiao Yan asked. Of course it is safe. Yi Beijing raised her chin. Then let us go. Since Lang Jun is so eager to know why I brought you away, if we return now, you should be able to get the answer. Yi Beijing walked to Xiao Yan's side. But Xiao Yan stopped, because she was lowering her head without saying a word. She cannot go back. Shu Tong said the Primordial God clan should have been wiped out long ago. If Chang Misi wants to erase the last bloodline of the Primordial God clan, then she is extremely dangerous right now. Senior Yi Beijing, can I trust you? Xiao Yan asked. Of course. Has Lang Jun finally figured it out? We can clarify everything today. If you cannot wait, we can enter the bridal chamber first and get married afterward. A smile appeared on Yi Beijing's face. That is not what I meant. Senior Yi Beijing, please do not joke around. Huacan said your goals are the same, so I want to know exactly what that goal is. Xiao Yan was very serious. There was no expression on his face. Yi Beijing pouted slightly, like a little girl who had done something wrong. Fine. I can tell Lang Jun. You should be able to sense my cultivation realm. The aura I usually give off is at the 6th realm. But the combat strength Huacan and I possess is definitely not something the 6th realm can achieve. The truth is, neither of us dares to break through to the 7th realm. Once we do, we will face a calamity of annihilation. Yi Beijing spoke slowly, and her expression became solemn. A calamity of annihilation? Is it like a heavenly tribulation? Xiao Yan asked. In truth, he had already guessed this. The only difference was that there seemed to be a problem with this tribulation. It is a problem that neither Huacan nor I can solve. That is why we need a powerful figure who once crossed that threshold to resolve it. Yi Beijing nodded. Then her gaze locked onto Xiao Yan. What kind of problem? Is there some power trying to erase and destroy you? Xiao Yan asked. He naturally knew that the powerful figure Yi Beijing referred to was him. No. If that were the case, Huacan and I would have died long ago. The problem is that we cannot see through it. That is why we have selfish intentions and are placing our hopes on you, hoping you can grow stronger. Our purpose is indeed to rely on you to solve it. Yi Beijing's voice grew smaller as she spoke, like a cat that had done something wrong. Then according to that, there are no 7th realm experts in the world today? Xiao Yan paused. Only now did he realize that Yi Beijing's desire for dual cultivation with him had been sincere. She wanted to use that method to help him increase his strength. There are not only 7th realm experts. There are even 8th realm experts. It is just that they have become increasingly mysterious and almost never appear in the world. Even someone as powerful as Yi Beijing seemed unable to understand many things. It even seemed that neither she nor Huacan dared to investigate them at all. According to Yi Beijing's explanation, this world still contained even stronger beings, existences that surpassed both her and Huacan. It was just that these beings were extremely hidden and almost never appeared, as if they had long since severed ties with the world. As Xiao Yan pondered this, a thought suddenly appeared in his mind. Is it possible that the one stopping you or attacking you is an 8th realm expert, or even someone stronger? Because of certain rules, they are preventing anyone from breaking through to the 7th realm. Xiao Yan spoke slowly. Yi Beijing frowned slightly, then nodded. Is that truly the case? Xiao Yan looked at Yi Beijing. I have never tried to break through, so I do not know clearly. But I have seen many powerful figures vanish after breaking through to the 7th realm. Right now, my cultivation and strength are already enough, so naturally there is no need for me to seek a breakthrough. Even less would I dare to risk myself so casually. Yi Beijing then gave a careful explanation. She knew very little about the exact situation and did not dare to try it lightly. Even when Huacan made his move, her first reaction had been to flee. That alone showed just how cautious Yi Beijing was, and how dangerous the matter truly was. Forget it. Thinking about these things now is useless. Even if the primordial spirit avatar still exists, I currently do not have the power to take it back. It is better to look forward. Cultivation must continue. Breaking through to the 7th realm is still far away for me. First, I must at least gain the power to fight Suzhu. Xiao Yan had already calmed down. The first time he lost contact with the primordial spirit avatar, the ending had already been decided. To him, the primordial spirit avatar was extremely powerful and an enormous source of support. Because of that, He had to admit that in many situations, his reliance on the primordial spirit avatar had made it his strongest method and trump card. In the short term, there was indeed nothing wrong with that. But it was not truly aligned with his own path of cultivation. With his current Nirvana Yen flame, along with the newly obtained 9 Nether Profound Flame, more and more source powers were gathering inside Xiao Yan's body. However, the 9 Nether Profound Flame was not Xiao Yan's true intention, because he had long since decided that the Nirvana Yen flame would be the core, while every other flame would only serve as support. Then Xiao Yan raised his hand and took out a dark gold crown from his storage ring. It was the crown Xuanhuang had given him. This came from the mountain and sea world. Do you recognize this crown? Xiao Yan brought it before Yu Shi. There were no remaining soul memories inside it, so it was still a mystery. I recognize it. This is King Zhua's crown. After he died, it disappeared without a trace. Yu Shi nodded. A look of reminiscence appeared in her eyes, and she was slightly moved. What is the use of this crown? Xiao Yan continued asking. Yu Shi shook her head. Among the Primordial God clan, she could not be considered part of the royal lineage, so how could she know? Xiao Yan had only asked with the mindset of giving it a try. This crown is called the Primordial God King's crown. It accompanied every generation of Primordial God Kings. But after King Zhua, it was lost, so I remember it clearly. Yu Shi still knew of it and even spoke its name. I have only heard that whoever wears the Primordial God King's crown can communicate with the ancient power of the Primordial Gods and become the supreme existence of the Primordial God clan. Oh, it has such an ability? Xiao Yan was surprised. He had not expected this mottled golden crown to be so precious. At that moment, Yi Beijing picked it up from the side and walked over to Xiao Yan. I have never heard of it either. But did your Primordial God clan even exist for eternity from its birth to its destruction? As Yi Beijing spoke, she reached out and placed the Primordial God King's crown on Xiao Yan's head. No! Yu Shi reached out to stop her, but it was already too late. The Primordial God King's crown was placed on Xiao Yan's head. Xiao Yan turned and looked seriously at Yi Beijing. Their eyes met. Do you feel anything? No. The two of them spoke casually. Only Yu Shi seemed nervous. Perhaps it is because you are not truly a member of the Primordial God clan. Let me give it to her and try. Yi Beijing then tried to remove the crown from Xiao Yan's head. But when she prepared to pull it off, she discovered that the crown seemed to have embedded itself into Xiao Yan's skull. Lang Jun, the situation is a little complicated. Yi Beijing tugged hard several times, nearly pulling Xiao Yan's head off his neck. Stop pulling. I will try it myself. Xiao Yan was on the verge of tears. Yi Beijing immediately stood beside him like a little girl who had made a mistake. Xiao Yan tried with all his strength several times, only to discover that he truly could not remove it. I did not know this would happen. You are from the Primordial God clan. You must know a way. Yi Beijing looked toward Yu Shi. I have only seen it and know that King Zhua once wore it. I only know that if this crown is worn by someone outside the Primordial God clan, they will be suppressed to death. As Yu Shi spoke, her voice grew smaller, and worry appeared in her eyes. Lang Jun, why don't you endure it for a moment? I will temporarily cut off your head. With the power of immortality, it should quickly grow back. This is bad. As Yi Beijing spoke and looked toward Xiao Yan, her words had barely fallen when she suddenly froze in shock. The crown on Xiao Yan's head had disappeared. Xiao Yan reached up to touch it and truly could not feel its existence. Lang Jun, do you feel anything? Yi Beijing asked. She had not expected her mischief to cause such a mistake. Nothing for now. Xiao Yan shook his head. It seemed that nothing was wrong with him, and there was no suppressive force. Perhaps it is because primordial god blood flows within my body. Although I am not truly of the primordial god clan, I have now broken through and obtained an ancestral level primordial god body. Of course, with just the ancestral level, I am not worthy of being king of the primordial god clan. But the primordial god king's crown did not reject me. Perhaps that itself is its recognition of me. Xiao Yan's soul power surged, but he could not sense any other presence within his body. It was as if the primordial god king's crown had never appeared, and as if he had never worn it. An object of the Primordial God clan should not have any effect on outsiders. Perhaps it truly recognized you. Yushi spoke from the side. What effect does it have? Xiao Yan felt nothing at all. It is the highest sacred object of the Primordial God clan. I do not know its exact power. But the Primordial God King's crown was passed down from one generation of Primordial God Kings to the next, so it must possess something powerful. Yushi said. Since Xiao Yan could not feel any actual change, he simply stopped dwelling on it. Senior Yi Beijing, can you find a place for me? I need to enter seclusion for some time. Xiao Yan no longer hesitated. He still had to continue cultivating and moving forward. The first step now was to use the source powers he had obtained and try to evolve the Zichen Void Spirit Art once again. With so many source powers inside his body, it was already time for the technique to evolve. He needed the special balancing power of the Zichen Void Spirit Art to keep them stable and orderly. Of course. I will personally protect Lang Jun while you cultivate. Hehe, that will not be necessary. I do not like being watched when I am in seclusion. Besides that, I must trouble Senior Yi Beijing to help me investigate the situation in Shanxi. Taishu has already invaded, and I have been away from Shanxi for some time, so I am very worried. Xiao Yan spoke. He was going to refine and evolve the Zichen Void Spirit Art, so naturally, he did not want anyone else to see it. All right, follow me. Yi Beijing curled his lips. He did not seem obsessed with cultivation at all. Perhaps taking down Xiao Yan was his own path of cultivation. Yi Beijing arranged a palace for Xiao Yan. After Xiao Yan walked inside, Yi Beijing followed him in as well. Senior Yi Beijing, I need to be alone. Everyone has their own secrets. I hope you can understand, Xiao Yan said seriously. Yi Beijing had no choice but to leave the hall reluctantly. Xiao Yan immediately sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, he shut the palace doors. His soul power at the Wuwang realm swept out at once, covering the entire hall. Even so, Xiao Yan still did not feel at ease. After everything that had happened, he understood one thing clearly. No one could be trusted lightly. So he waved his hand again, and the soul-suppressing banner floated in the air. Yi Tian, I need you to protect me while I cultivate, Xiao Yan said in a deep voice. Of course, Yi Tian could not truly be trusted either. But as long as the soul-suppressing banner was there, everything remained under Xiao Yan's control. Purple-black clouds circled inside the hall, seemingly watching Xiao Yan without saying a word. Xiao Yan ignored it and began his cultivation on his own. The first priority was to evolve the Zichen Void Spirit Art. The number of origin powers inside Xiao Yan's body had grown larger and larger. However, because of the Zichen Void Spirit Art, those powers were like stars revolving around him. Any restlessness would be balanced by this force. At present, the Zichen Void Spirit Art had already evolved to the ancient desolate level. If it evolved again, it would break through to the transcendent level in one stroke. Once the technique broke through, no matter how many origin powers Xiao Yan possessed, he would have absolute power to restrain and balance them. Inside the hall, time seemed to freeze. Xiao Yan sat at the center, his aura as vast as an abyss and ocean, yet strangely maintained in perfect balance. The three main origins for this evolution were the Nirvana Flame, the Netherworld Profound Ice Flame, and the Void-Moving Soul. The three origins floated before him. Xiao Yan now had to make new adjustments and plans. The Nirvana Flame was the core of his cultivation, so it naturally became the center. The other origins then surrounded it like stars, each arranged by Xiao Yan into its own position. At that moment, the origins before him began to stir. Xiao Yan slowly circulated the Zichen Void Spirit Art, sensing the rhythm within them. Nothing was forced. Everything happened naturally, like water flowing into a channel. Soon, the nebula formed from the origins began to rotate. With the Nirvana Flame as the core, all the origins honored it as supreme and revolved around it in an orderly manner. The circulation of the Zichen Void Spirit Art reached an unprecedented and mysterious state. The runes of the technique within Xiao Yan's body even reflected onto the star map around him. They continuously reorganized and evolved, releasing a low hum, like the first sound when heaven and earth were born. Xiao Yan kept adjusting everything, allowing every origin to reach its most perfect state. Everything proceeded slowly and steadily. After an unknown amount of time, the star map before him suddenly erupted with indescribably dazzling light. It was as if it had finally found the most perfect way to circulate. A roar exploded from the depths of Xiao Yan's soul. All the origins flowed like hundreds of rivers entering the sea, merging perfectly into the circulation path of the Zichen Void Spirit Art in an even purer, stronger, and more obedient state. A vast and mysterious aura, one that seemed to surpass the rules of this world, spread from Xiao Yan's body. The power within him was no longer a simple accumulation. Under the command of the transcendent level Zichen Void Spirit Art, it formed a perfect system that circulated endlessly and renewed itself without cease. The hidden danger of possessing multiple origins was completely removed. In its place came an unprecedented sense of control and fusion. It succeeded. The Zichen Void Spirit Art has broken through to the transcendent level. It went even more smoothly than I expected. The breakthrough of the technique was extremely important. Ever since Xiao Yan obtained the Nirvana flame, there had already been a faint uneasiness within his body. Later, after he obtained the Netherworld Profound Ice Flame, the restlessness inside him intensified. Fortunately, the technique had evolved smoothly. Only in this way could Xiao Yan continue moving forward steadily. By now, Xiao Yan had already obtained quite a few origin powers. But he understood that if he wanted to approach the strength the Exalted One once possessed, this alone was still not enough. He still needed to overcome and acquire more origins. However, he did not necessarily need to absorb every origin into his body. What he needed more was to obtain more fire origins to strengthen and evolve the Nirvana flame. Xiao Yan raised his hand, and a thread of red light hovered above his palm. Compared to before, it was even more brilliant, and the Nirvana fluctuations it emitted were even stronger. As his cultivation technique evolved, the Nirvana flame had also become more powerful. In this way, Xiao Yan was rapidly making up for the combat strength he had lost after losing his primordial spirit clone. At that moment, Xiao Yan suddenly felt a vibration between his brows. It was the Zichen Void Spirit Tower. Because the Zichen Void Spirit Art had purified his soul power and broken through to the Wuwang realm, the tower had also grown stronger and stronger. Old Zhan's figure slowly appeared. His appearance had changed. He no longer resembled Yao Lao, but looked more like himself. Although his appearance had changed, Xiao Yan did not find him unfamiliar. Instead, there was a faint sense of déjà vu. "Thank you for your help, Old Zhan. Without this tower, I would never have been able to reach this point," Xiao Yan said, cupping his fists. "The further you go, the lonelier it becomes. This path was destined to be this way. While gaining things, you are also losing things. The path of protection is the same. Not everyone can understand you. As you continue forward, this will only become more true. But you should know that all things in the world carry joy and sorrow, meaning and regret." Old Zhan said many things. Xiao Yan had not heard such words in a very long time. "Old Zhan, is the Zichen Void Spirit Tower going to leave?" Xiao Yan asked doubtfully. "No. It lives and dies with you. I only hope you can gain some understanding from my words," Old Zhan said, shaking his head. Xiao Yan let out a breath of relief. He pondered Old Zhan's words in his heart and felt that they carried deep meaning. He had not reached this point solely by relying on the Zichen Void Spirit Tower. His closest kin had given him faith, and his friends had given him help. Along this bloody path, there were countless footprints behind him. But he had also lost loved ones. Because of cultivation, he had walked alone on this long road. And while he walked alone, were his friends and family not also doing the same? "You may go to the 16th floor and take a look," Old Zhan continued while Xiao Yan was still thinking. After saying that, his figure suddenly disappeared. "The 15th floor is the Eternal Corridor. The rules of that floor are already unbelievable. What could the 16th floor be?" Xiao Yan murmured to himself. Since Old Zhan had told him to go, he naturally had to take a look. The appearance of each floor had its own specific timing. Everything seemed to have been tailored for Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan arrived on the 15th floor. There was a passage here leading to the 16th floor. Without hesitation, he stepped into it. The instant he entered, a blue planet suddenly appeared before him. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically. This planet seemed like something that should only exist forever in his dreams. The scene before him looked far too familiar. Was it Earth? Xiao Yan stared at the planet before him. Most of it was covered by ocean, with only a smaller portion of land. The entire planet appeared blue. It truly looked far too much like Earth. Just as he was about to enter and investigate, Old John appeared beside him once again. "This planet has always existed in your memories," Old John said. Xiao Yan looked at Old John in shock. Did he know everything about Xiao Yan crossing into this world? Or perhaps the Exalted One was also a transmigrator? "You know of it?" Xiao Yan asked in return. "I naturally do not know it. The 16th floor is the Minor Thousand World. The first planet here is born from your memories," Old John slowly explained. Only then did the surprise in Xiao Yan's eyes fade. "Then is this planet completely the same as the one in my memories?" Xiao Yan asked curiously. "Naturally not. But it is a real planet. The moment you took your first step into the Minor Thousand World on the 16th floor, this world was born for you," Old John murmured as he looked at the blue planet. Xiao Yan looked at it as well, confusion appearing on his face. "Born for me?" "Exactly. Before every world is born, it comes from nothing into existence. It begins from the birth of the first planet. Just like now. You may give it a name, and then you will be able to control this world. Everything here will be under your command," Old John explained slowly. Xiao Yan gave a bitter smile. "I am already trapped in a mire myself. How would I have time to manage some Minor Thousand World?" To Xiao Yan, he did not want to think about these unrelated matters right now. He only wanted to become stronger. He only wanted to repel and defeat Taishu, restore everything in Shinxi, and then live together with his family and friends. "As for what you choose to do, that is for you to decide," Old John said with a faint smile. "If I wanted you to give me some advice, what should I do next?" Xiao Yan asked. He did not understand the meaning behind the 16th floor's Minor Thousand World, so he cupped his fists and humbly sought guidance. "Look further ahead. All things contain sorrow. In everything, prepare for the worst." Old John paused, then slowly spoke those words. They carried deep meaning, yet were also easy to understand. Xiao Yan's pupils shrank slightly. "All things contain sorrow," Xiao Yan murmured to himself. When he turned his head again, Old John had disappeared as before. What remained could only be understood by Xiao Yan himself. He took a deep breath and looked toward the deep blue planet before him. Then he stepped into it. He arrived on land. It was barren, without the slightest trace of life. Xiao Yan then came to the boundless ocean. There was only calm seawater, still without life. There was no day and night. There was nothing. "I understand." Xiao Yan seemed to realize something. With a wave of his hand, countless medicinal seeds scattered across the ground. Life is born from the sea, but it needs sunlight. As Xiao Yan spoke, a sun slowly rose in the sky. There must be an alternation between day and night, and the temperature must be suitable. It is just like refining pills. If the heat is too strong, it will only burn everything to nothing. The blue planet slowly began revolving around the sun. Light brought energy. In the lifeless seawater, tiny forms of life began to be born and multiply. Xiao Yan smiled faintly, and his figure suddenly disappeared from the 16th floor's Minor Thousand World. The rest will be left to time. Since he had entered the Zichen Void Spirit Tower, Xiao Yan also went to the territory on the 14th floor. The medicinal herbs planted there had already matured. The yin-yang twin fruit had also borne fruit again. This meant he could continue refining the yin-yang purple peony pill. However, he did not pick it. The effect of this pill was too special. If he took it himself, that would be one thing. But if he refined extra pills and gave them to Mr. He would not know whose hands those pills might eventually end up in. Once karma appeared, he would inevitably be dragged into it. Xiao Yan had reached the 5th level state of mind of the divine immortal realm. At this level, everything he saw in the world was different. Everything he did was like placing a chess piece, and each move would create countless threads of karma, influencing the direction of the future. So if something was unnecessary, he should not do it. He had to make arrangements according to the goal he wanted to achieve. For example, the yin-yang purple peony pill could be given to those who were beneficial to him, such as Xuanhuang or even Yi Jing. No matter what their motives were, from a long-term perspective, mutual benefit was still favorable. Although this was somewhat utilitarian, relationships were often like this. Usefulness was the most important thing. As for how to use that usefulness, one had to consider it from the emotional level. With my current strength, shaking Suzhou is still extremely difficult. But if I can unite experts from other worlds, such as Yi Beijing. Xiao Yan pondered while planting more medicinal herbs, gaining inspiration from the process. It is just that the condition he wants, dual cultivation with me, is difficult to accept. I wonder whether I can approach it from another direction. Aside from him, there are also those existences in the Chaos Assembly. They all have the ability to help Xinshi escape its crisis. In the past, it was difficult to invite them, but now perhaps I have gained some qualifications. With soul power at the Wuwang realm, the pills I can refine will definitely rise to another level. Back on the Do Qi continent, an alchemist could call upon the experts of the world to fight for him. Why could that not be the case now? Xiao Yan was searching for a way to break the situation. As he gradually grew stronger, he also needed to gradually arrange these chess pieces. If he wanted this chessboard to truly come alive, he had to find the correct direction. Of course, everything was easier said than done. Take someone as powerful as Hua Kan, for example. Even if Xiao Yan refined pills for him, Hua Kan might still only go through the motions. If Xiao Yan wanted sincere help, he would need to move from simple benefit to a deeper emotional bond. Xiao Yan then calculated the relationships and powers he currently possessed. How many of them could truly help Xinshi? If the price of dual cultivation could invite Yi Beijing to act, and if he could kill Suzhou, then after thinking carefully, it might not be completely unacceptable. But Xiao Yan quickly dismissed the thought. Although he could borrow strength now, he himself could not bear any karma. This move was still a dead end. I can use alchemy to draw more karmic forces into Xinshi, but the root and the final result must still be supported by my own strength. Becoming strong myself and borrowing outside power are not contradictory. That is what both the wise and the strong must do. Xiao Yan did not remain in the Zichen Void Spirit Tower any longer. Next, he still had other things to do. First, he needed to find a chance to hold a chaos assembly and see whether he could receive some pill refining orders. He also needed to refine all the pills he had promised. However, just as Xiao Yan left the Zichen Void Spirit Tower, the jade slip in his storage ring did not react. Instead, the 9-root mask of the Zhangmisi flickered. The Zhangmisi are holding another meeting? Xiao Yan murmured. He had only met Vertical Eye not long ago. Could it be that Vertical Eye had convened this meeting just to brag about how he had toyed with Hua Kan? Xiao Yan took out the 9-root mask. This time, he entered the Zhangmisi meeting first. When he arrived on the stone platform, the first figure Xiao Yan saw was Vertical Eye. Perhaps things were exactly as he had guessed. Vertical Eye had come here to show off. 9-root, you came at just the right time. This time, I witnessed the bearing of the Exalted One and played him beautifully. A sharp laugh came from Vertical Eye in the distance. He sounded extremely pleased with himself. Xiao Yan did not answer and maintained his silence. The more he spoke, the more likely he was to make a mistake. After all, he was not the former 9-root. But perhaps he was being too cautious. Maybe these Zhangmisi did not care who was truly beneath the mask. What is wrong, 9-root? Why are you not speaking? Are you unhappy because I fooled the Exalted One? Vertical Eye suddenly latched onto Xiao Yan and refused to let go. Or is there some special relationship between you and the Exalted One? Is that why you are unwilling to? Enough nonsense. If you fooled him, then tell us how you did it. If Xiao Yan remained silent, Vertical Eye might continue making wild guesses, so he spoke coldly. No rush, no rush. I will tell you once everyone has arrived, Vertical Eye replied with a strange laugh. Hearing this, Xiao Yan frowned slightly. All he knew was that Vertical Eye had taken away his primordial spirit clone and erased it. Could there be something else he did not know? Xiao Yan pondered silently. Soon, blue figures appeared one after another on the surrounding stone platforms, each wearing a different mask. Then, in the previously vacant position of 4 eyes, the empty stone platform from the last meeting, a blue figure slowly appeared. Xiao Yan's brows twitched slightly. The Lord of Illusory Dreams was already dead. The figure now appearing on 4 eyes stone platform should not be him. At present, aside from the dead 4 eyes, whose true identity had been the Lord of Illusory Dreams, the real identities of the other Zhangmisi were still mysteries. Previously, Xiao Yan had judged from his words that Vertical Eye might possibly be 9 Suns' Heavenly Lord Hua Can. But after the events in the 9 Heavens Divine Realm, Vertical Eye and Hua Can had appeared at the same time, and their ways of acting were also very different. It was difficult to connect the two. For now, there were no clues linking Vertical Eye to Hua Can. As for Yi Beijing, because he had forced Xiao Yan to leave in a hurry, Xiao Yan still felt that something about Yi Beijing and Hua Can was not quite real. The two seemed to be arguing and fighting, but Xiao Yan sensed something staged in their behavior. He did not know what they were trying to hide. All of this was still only speculation. It depended on what Vertical Eye would say next. As for the identities of these Zhangmisi, Xiao Yan still had to investigate them one by one. Just like in the first meeting, they could not possibly be only existences from the Chaos Divine Domain. The Chaos Divine Domain now seemed more like a place where the souls of these powerful beings temporarily remained. Their true selves were still living beings, and they must exist in some world. Previously, Xiao Yan had been unable to make this judgment. But with the fall of the Lord of Illusory Dreams, this point had been firmly proven. Vertical Eye, why have you summoned us? Double Pupils asked. Damn it, where the hell did you drag me? Just as Double Pupils spoke, 4 eyes suddenly let out a voice, causing the surroundings to fall silent. Clearly, this newly selected Zhangmisi member had some similarity with these lunatics. First of all, he did not have much courtesy. 4 eyes, since you have come here, you are now one of the Zhangmisi. Hide your identity well, or your position will soon be replaced. The previous 4 eyes died terribly, so protect yourself. Vertical Eye seemed to be reminding him out of goodwill. What kind of damned place is this? You start by trying to scare your father? Whoever wants to kill me can come at any time. 4 eyes did not appreciate the warning at all and immediately cursed back. Good. Vertical Eye, wherever you chose this Zhangmisi from, he fits the Zhangmisi style very well. Unexpectedly, no one became angry. Vertical Eye was not annoyed either. Instead, all kinds of strange laughter rang out. Since everyone is so happy, let me tell you what I did in the 9 Heavens Divine Realm, Vertical Eye said. 4 eyes did not leave. It seemed he also wanted to hear where this place was and what these strange blue figures intended to do. This show was only possible thanks to the help of 3 eyes and 5 apertures. Only then was I able to successfully toy with 9 Suns' Heavenly Lord Hua Can. I took away the Exalted One's clone and lured them into the stage I had already prepared. Within my stage, I used the dark chaotic power that originally existed in that world to lure the Exalted One over. He did not seem very clever. I used a fake body, and when he was about to touch it, I shattered it. It was very fake, extremely fake, yet I never expected him to actually believe it. I had originally worried that the Exalted One might make a comeback. But now, it seems that after walking through reincarnation once more, he has completely lost himself. After that, Hua Can was enraged and displayed the 7th Wutian realm power, forcibly splitting open the chaos. But using that kind of power would inevitably draw the divine chains. His immortality was extracted. He is already old and fading. If he cannot break the situation, he likely will not last 1,000 years before following in the Exalted One's footsteps and taking another trip through reincarnation. How about it? Interesting, is it not? 9 Suns' Heavenly Lord Hua Can had his immortality taken away by the divine chains. How extremely interesting. As Vertical Eye spoke, Xiao Yan's expression beneath the blue figure became extremely ugly. If what Vertical Eye said was true, then in that instant, he really had deceived Xiao Yan. But after thinking carefully, this was not necessarily bad news. If that was the case, Then perhaps Xiao Yan's primordial spirit clone had not been destroyed after all. Instead, it had been hidden away by Vertical Eye. There was still hope of finding it. The bad news was that Yi Beijing had never told him anything about these so-called divine chains. He had only said that the seventh was a forbidden technique, but he had never mentioned the price of having one's immortality extracted. In other words, Huacan has less than 1,000 years of lifespan left. Xiao Yan murmured inwardly. Huacan had paid such a huge price. But why would he pay such a huge price to unleash that one strike? With his strength, could he truly not have escaped from it? A huge doubt rose in Xiao Yan's heart. Could that strike have been unleashed in order to allow him and Yi Beijing to escape, even at the cost of being seized by those so-called divine chains, and even at the cost of losing his immortality? It did not make sense. It did not fit reason. Something is not right. Vertical Eye, although Huacan is far inferior to the Exalted One in strategy, he is not so foolish as you claim. Why would he use the seventh power? That mere dark chaos should not have required him to strike. Even without doing so, he could have forced his way out. Xiao Yan wanted to ask, but he did not speak. He could not afford to say a single wrong word. Now was not the time for him to speak. Naturally, it was because there was something in the darkness he wanted to protect, Vertical Eye said. Impossible. The price was far too great, and there was never such deep friendship between him and the Exalted One. Why would he do something like that? Perhaps you were the one who was fooled instead. Perhaps he used you as a chess piece. The voice that rang out came from 6 halls. The doubt in 6 pupils' mind was the same doubt Xiao Yan had at that moment. If Long Misi could ask the question for him, that would be even better. So what? Vertical Eye's voice rang out. Have I ever cared about the consequences? I do not care what Huacan is planning. This time, he had his immortality taken away. Even if he has some scheme, what if it succeeds only by accident? Then he would truly have been played to death by me. Once 9 Yang Heavenly Venerable falls, do you think those beings will still be able to sit still? His tone was fast and sharp, unpleasant enough to make one frown. If you think that way, after playing Huacan to death, you must not seize the credit, 6 pupils said carefully. He seemed different from the other Long Misi, not nearly as crazed. Who cares? Stop flattering yourself, Vertical Eye snorted coldly. 13th Lord, as for your boneless realm, that woman is rather clever. She actually managed not to fall under my control. Vertical Eye sounded proud of what he had done, as though deceiving both the Venerable and Huacan was a glorious achievement. Playing the Venerable and Huacan is indeed not bad. I want to play too. I want to make all living beings in the 9 realms drown in misery. Let demonic energy surge and let devilish cries fill the 8 realms. A mad laugh rang out, as though he found it extremely amusing. Everyone, this grand show has already begun. The main characters have all stepped onto the stage. What are you still waiting for? The plain-faced voice sounded again, saying things Xiao Yan could not understand. The main characters. The stage. Were they using the 9 realms as their stage? Then were the so-called main characters the strongest beings of each world? Xiao Yan pondered silently, yet the feeling of powerlessness from being caught inside all of this pressed heavily on him. He wished he could immediately uncover the identities of these Long Misi and crush them one by one. But right now, he could not even resolve the invaders who had appeared in his own world. How could he challenge these mysterious beings behind the scenes? Even someone as powerful as Huacan, the 9 Yang Heavenly Venerable, could be dragged into their scheme and treated like an actor on their stage. What did Xiao Yan have that could stand against them? Before this, the Tianren mansion that 9 roots had planted in Xinxi had always made Xiao Yan deeply puzzled. Throughout Xiao Yan's path of cultivation, the Tianren mansion had obstructed him countless times and had nearly killed him more than once. Thinking about it carefully now, only after he had inexplicably joined this Long Misi gathering did he finally see the truth. The Tianren mansion had existed only as part of 9 Root's stage. Along the way, its repeated attempts to kill him had merely been part of a show. From beginning to end, 9 Roots had stood high above, watching Xiao Yan and taking pleasure in it. Yet Xiao Yan could not help feeling that these Long Misi were not truly playing with them without purpose. Or perhaps that was only the surface impression they wanted others to have. They used madness to better hide their true identities. Fun, very fun. First the boneless realm, and now the races are tearing one another apart. Soon, they will be fighting until there is no solution at all. Even if Yi Beijing is clever, he is still an actor on my stage. Three Eyes burst into a crazed laugh. All of you shut up. If we are going to play, then let us play something enormous. Under my step-by-step victory, Taishu tore open the world barrier of Shanxi. The Taishu army charged inside howling. Guess what happened? The Venerable was scared witless. Now he does not even dare return to Shanxi. Who knows where he is hiding in the 9 realms? 5 Holes spoke with smug excitement. Xiao Yan gradually understood that these Long Misi each had a specific world and a target they liked to toy with. Vertical Eyes stage was the 9 Heavens Divine Realm. 3 Eyes stage was the Boneless Realm. 5 Holes stage was the Taishu world. If that was the case, and if they all possess true bodies, then their real bodies should be hidden somewhere within their respective worlds. To drag them out, one would have to start from the world they belong to. What Xiao Yan found curious was that they did not seem completely fixed in place. Through this strange meeting, they could appear in different worlds and face one another directly. They were an extremely complicated group of beings. With Xiao Yan's current strength, capturing any one of them and eliminating them was absolutely impossible. Xiao Yan then thought of everyone in the chaos meeting. Although he still had doubts, he could only borrow their strength if he wanted a chance to deal with these hidden manipulators. What are you all arguing for? A bunch of madmen. You are even crazier than me. If you are so capable, then come to the Western Heaven Profound Realm and find me. For finally could not hold back and roared angrily. 4. The Western Heaven Profound Realm is very fun to play with. That group of rabbits call themselves a divine race. There are many tricks to play on them. Best to make those rabbits bite one another's backsides. Ha ha ha. 7 Caverns laughed endlessly. Bite one another's backsides? That is indeed a good idea. Then let us do as you said and make them bite one another's backsides. For seemed to have reached an agreement with him and also laughed, as though he had instantly blended in with the rest. Xiao Yan had not spoken a word until now. Although he had to speak less, he could not remain too silent. Too much silence would make him even more suspicious. Hey, I say, do none of you have your own actors? And you, Vertical Eye, the Venerable belongs to me, 9 Roots. You can play with Hua Can, but the Venerable is mine to toy with. At last, Xiao Yan spoke. His words actually contained many flaws, but he was gambling. He was gambling that these madmen did not think carefully at all, and that they did not even care about their own lives. 9 Roots is acting very strange today, Vertical Eye immediately shouted. Xiao Yan's heart tightened. Had Vertical Eye truly begun to suspect him? Who is strange and who is not? You played with the Venerable, so of course I must play with Hua Can. Do not try to take advantage of my actor. Judging from their words, the identities of the Long Misi were not ranked by number. There seemed to be no distinction of strength here. What mattered was who could play others in circles. You used to be very dull, quietly setting up your great show. Now you are much more interesting. Yes, argue with me. That makes it fun. Vertical Eye was not angry. Instead, he let out a strange laugh. Only then did Xiao Yan's heart relax slightly. After several long Misi meetings, when he thought about it carefully, he had only grasped some of the most basic information and rules. He had yet to find any concrete clues about the Long Misi themselves, let alone clues regarding their true identities. What he could infer was that these Long Misi might not be the strongest beings. On the contrary, perhaps their strength was not that powerful, which was why they had to hide behind the scenes. But how could he drag them out? Xiao Yan frowned in thought. As for his own identity as 9 Roots, he was even more hesitant. He did not know how he should explain it to the chaos meeting. The 2 meetings were like opponents on a chessboard. From what had happened in the past, the Long Misi came up with sinister schemes, while the people in the chaos meeting would entrust everyone with missions to resolve them. The situation was extremely complicated. Xiao Yan's thoughts were tangled in countless directions. Perhaps only when the chaos meeting gathered again would he be able to gain some clues from E. The matter of the long Misi was not aimed only at him. It involved every world. However, there were also many doubtful points within the chaos meeting itself, so there were very few people he could trust. Before learning the truth, some questions had to remain hidden in his heart for now. At present, only Xiao had an identity that was too mysterious. His favoritism toward Xiao Yan was also far too obvious. Vertical Eye, are you sure your little game did not touch the bottom line? At this moment, Double Pupils suddenly asked in a strange tone. The bottom line? Of course I would not touch it. Even if I did, as long as it was not too excessive, there should not be a big problem. Vertical Eye paused, sounding somewhat guilty. Is that so? You should know what happens after touching the bottom line. Just as Vertical Eye's shrill, strange laughter was still echoing through the chaotic void, boasting of his great achievement in playing with the venerable and Hua Can, a cold and majestic voice suddenly tore through the chaotic space without warning. Impudent. The voice seemed forged from ancient ice and the laws of the stars. It was not loud, yet it contained an absolute will of judgment. Like an invisible heavy hammer, it smashed hard into the core awareness of every long Misi present. The crazed laughter, excited roars, and sharp mockery all stopped at once. The chaos churned. An enormous blue phantom, so vast it could hardly be described, suddenly condensed behind Vertical Eye. It had no clear facial features and looked more like a projection formed from endless deep space and cold order. Its body flowed with a galaxy-like radiance, releasing a pressure that made the soul tremble. It was as if he were the ruler of this chaotic divine realm. As the voice rang out, a palm that seemed to contain countless stars appeared silently above Vertical Eye's head. Vertical Eye's laughter stopped abruptly. Though Xiao Yan could not see his expression, he could feel his fear. Divine Palm Envoy, this subordinate knows his mistake. Everything is done with chaos as the highest will. I had absolutely no intention of offending it. His words became incoherent. He tried to explain. He tried to beg for mercy. The vertical eye on his mask flickered wildly, searching for a sliver of life. But beneath the pressure of that giant blue phantom, all his struggles seemed tiny and laughable. Within this chaotic divine realm, Xiao Yan had never seen anyone capable of attacking. Looking at that enormous blue phantom now, he knew Vertical Eye was probably doomed. This divine palm envoy was also someone Xiao Yan was seeing for the first time. He seemed to be the leader of the Long Misi. The blue giant phantom showed no emotional fluctuation. Its icy voice sounded again like a judgment handed down by the laws themselves. You violated the rules. You crossed the boundary without permission. Death penalty. The words, death penalty, fell like a final verdict. Vertical Eye was not given any chance to continue begging. The giant palm that blotted out the chaos descended with a will that could not be defied, precisely covering the stone platform where Vertical Eye stood. In an instant, a shriek sharp enough to tear the soul apart exploded. Vertical Eye's scream did not come from physical pain. It came from the extreme agony of his soul being ground inch by inch and his consciousness being violently stripped apart. That sound pierced through the emptiness of the chaotic space, carrying a chilling, almost tangible force as it slammed into the consciousness of every Long Misi. At this moment, not a single Long Misi dared to stand up and plead for him. Perhaps pleading would have been useless anyway. Vertical Eye's entire dark blue body gradually collapsed upon his stone platform. His screams grew weaker and weaker until the vertical pupil on the stone platform disappeared completely. Xiao Yan drew in a cold breath. In the chaos meeting, it had once been mentioned that if one died during the meeting, then it was true death in the real sense. Those who crossed the boundary would end here. The Long Misi have never lacked replacements. Everyone, please watch your words and actions. Only Vertical Eye's mask remained on his stone platform. A moment ago, the chaotic space had been filled with crazed laughter and mocking arguments. Now it had fallen into a deathly silence. The theater slowly faded away, as if it had never appeared. But the terrifying aftershock of that soul-crushing strike, and the cold fact that Vertical Eye had been completely erased, froze every stone platform like invisible ice. Xiao Yan's heartbeat quickened without him realizing it. He could not sense what kind of existence the dark blue gathering body was, nor what level of strength it had. Everything here was too different from reality, and far beyond the limits of his understanding. And the way Vertical Eye had been erased so decisively and completely made him even more shocked. What exactly was the existence behind all of this? It looked more and more like a king's game. The 9 realms were like living beings raised in his enclosure, and he had created rules and restrictions for them. A very soft laugh, trembling with a neurotic edge, broke the dead silence. It was 7 caverns. Vertical Eye is dead. That arrogant fellow actually died. But this time, he was able to erase Hua Can's immortality and play such an overflowing grand show. That was worth it. Humph. 3 Eyes snorted coldly, seemingly not caring about Vertical Eye's death at all. The noisy bug is gone. He deserved it. The Venerable is my actor. Whoever touches him dies. Xiao Yan forcefully suppressed the shock in his heart. At a time like this, acting pleased at another's misfortune seemed more reasonable. Disperse. Disperse. Go do your own things. 1 Vertical Eye died. I wonder if the next new Vertical Eye will be more interesting. After Double Pupils finished speaking, he did not wait for any response. His dark blue figure on the stone platform disappeared. At this moment, countless thoughts surged through Xiao Yan's mind. This long Misi meeting had undergone a huge change. He had also gained more information about the chaotic divine realm. But there were still many things he did not know. What exactly had caused Vertical Eye to be slapped to death by the divine Palm Envoy? What did crossing the boundary mean? And were Vertical Eye's words true or false? If the destroyed clone was fake, then where was Xiao Yan's primordial spirit clone now? Was it still in the 9 heavens divine realm? If it was still there, Hua Can must have taken it away. If Hua Can denied it completely, Xiao Yan would have no way to do anything about it. If everything was true and his primordial spirit clone still existed in the world, then that was at least good news. Soon after, Xiao Yan left the chaotic divine realm and departed from this meeting. In reality, he slowly opened his eyes, feeling as if everything that had just happened was even more unreal than a dream. If he had not experienced it personally, it would have been difficult to believe it truly existed. While thinking, Xiao Yan began refining pills. Flames rose inside the palace. Countless medicinal ingredients rolled within the fire, and the fragrance of pills quickly spread through the air. The improvement brought by his boundless realm soul power caused Xiao Yan's alchemy speed to increase several times again. For some reason, although he was clearly becoming stronger and stronger, he could no longer find the feeling he had when he first refined the qi gathering powder. In the following days, Xiao Yan immersed himself in alchemy. Although he still could not guarantee absolute success, he could now maintain a success rate of more than 80%. With my current alchemy skill, I should be able to accept higher-grade pill requests. As long as they do not surpass the divine grade, it should not take me too long to refine them. After refining several batches of pills on behalf of others, Xiao Yan planned to try the primordial spirit cultivation method and temper his body. He would treat it as if his primordial spirit clone was no longer there and see whether his original physical body could rise to another level. Xiao Yan made plans in his heart and considered his next path of cultivation. After finishing all of this, it would be time to set off and return to Shinshi. The battle against Taishu would arrive sooner or later. He was still thinking about how the chaos meeting had not been held for a long time. Now that he had the ability to refine pills, accepting more commissions was naturally the best choice. Even if the favors he received in exchange proved useless, it would still be excellent if he could obtain some cultivation methods, techniques, or special arts. While Xiao Yan was refining pills in the ancient immortal demon street, far away in the 9 heavens divine realm, Hua Can's aged face looked as though he was approaching the end of his life. His hunched body relied entirely on the arrogance in his bones, and he refused to use a walking stick. Hua Can spat out a large mouthful of blood. He staggered several steps, his expression turning ashen. He immediately sat down cross-legged, but his blood and energy could not recover for a long time. Losing the word immortal had not only taken away his endless lifespan, it had also taken away his terrifying ability to recover. What exactly happened? Why did my mind suddenly suffer the heavy blow of a split soul being destroyed? Could that long Misi truly have been formed from one of my split souls? Huacan was horrified. He felt as though he had been completely kept in the dark, without any memory of it. Originally, his remaining lifespan could still support him for 1,000 years. But after suffering this heavy injury, he might not live for more than 200 years. Huacan sat cross-legged inside White Jade Capital and did not open his eyes for a long time. He should come again, shouldn't he? At that moment, the mark between Huacan's brows flickered. If Xiao Yan could have seen it, he would have recognized it as the sword slave mark. After a long while, Huacan slowly opened his eyes. A crazed light flashed within them, but it vanished in an instant. When he opened his eyes again, they were dim and lifeless, as if he could perish at any moment. This karmic seed must be planted in the Venerable's heart. Inside the palace, Xiao Yan withdrew his flames. The time needed to refine pills had been greatly shortened because of his breakthrough in soul power. The pills he refined were purer, and their medicinal strength was much higher than before. He was now quite comfortable even when refining divine-grade pills. However, he was not in a hurry to come out of seclusion. Besides that, with a thought, the split soul of Su Zhu floated out from the soul-suppressing banner and appeared before him. Yi Tian, choose a good physical body. I want to refine a puppet. As soon as Xiao Yan spoke, a purple-black cloud shot over and hovered above his head. It transformed into a demonic expression, opening its huge mouth as if it wanted to swallow Xiao Yan whole. Xiao Yan let out a soft sound of surprise. The purple-black cloud immediately closed its mouth. Wait, that is not right. Why should I be afraid of you? I am the first demon, invincible through time. Even if there are opponents I cannot defeat, no one has ever been able to kill me. You are merely a venerable. Why should I fear you? Yi Tian's grumbling voice came from within the purple-black cloud. Do our previous agreements no longer count? Do you still want freedom? I think something more painful than being killed is having no freedom. Xiao Yan's voice sounded calmly. When he had first taken Yi Tian into the soul-suppressing banner, Yi Tian had already been trapped for an unknown length of time. He had long grown used to endless loneliness and boredom. But after following Xiao Yan, even though he had chances to leave in various worlds, he had given them up. A fish in a tank, once it had seen mountains and rivers, was destined never to return to its old life. It was easy to go from hardship to luxury, but difficult to go from luxury back to hardship. Relying precisely on this point, Xiao Yan had completely grasped Yi Tian inside the soul-suppressing banner. Although he could not kill him, he could imprison him. Venerable, do not say such angry words. What kind of puppet do you want? Choose whatever you like. Laughter came from the purple-black cloud. Pride was important, but it was still not as important as brief freedom. Although I do not know what exactly you do after I let you out, you must be doing something that makes you happy, Xiao Yan teased. Yi Tian's matters are naturally nothingness itself. Ask less. It will do you no good. Yi Tian snorted. Among these puppets, are there any at the immortal realm? The stronger, the better. Xiao Yan was not angry. Instead, he smiled. Yi Tian was a demon and did not have the ability to reproduce. He probably had no interest in mating either. But hearing Yi Tian speak like this made Xiao Yan a little curious. Several figures were spat out from the purple-black cloud. There were men and women among them. All had bloodless faces and no trace of life, yet powerful aura fluctuations spread from their bodies. These demon puppets were nurtured by me for a long time. Choose anyone you like. Yi Tian spoke generously, as if he had taken out some extraordinary treasures. Change them. Xiao Yan immediately shook his head. He did not seem satisfied. What? These are my signature works. I have nothing else. Take them or leave them. Yi Tian sounded annoyed. Xiao Yan knew Yi Tian was definitely hiding something good. Judging from his reaction, there was no doubt about it. Is this all the first demon has? Could it be that you feel you will not be able to collect better demon puppets in the future? Xiao Yan raised his brows. In his opinion, Yi Tian was only slightly harder to coax than Dog Eye, but neither of them really used their brains. I actually believe the first demon can collect even better demon puppets. We are connected. So if I become stronger, your mighty name will naturally spread throughout the 9 realms as well. This benefits both of us. Think carefully. Am I wrong? After Xiao Yan said this, Yi Tian fell silent for a long time before finally sorting it out. First of all, I am not yielding to you. What you said does indeed make some sense. I have disappeared from the world for far too many years. It is time to let these ants hear my name again. This clone is my proudest work. You had better treasure it properly. As Yi Tian spoke, a figure slowly emerged from the purple-black cloud. When Xiao Yan saw it, his brows gradually furrowed. How is it? Handsome, is it not? Impressive, is it not? Xiao Yan stared at the figure before him. It was obvious that Yi Tian had modified it. This thing already challenged the limits of human aesthetics. Its twisted, knotted limbs seemed forcefully pieced together from different species. Its body was covered in dark, mottled scales that occasionally oozed mucus. Its torso was bloated, yet several parts were sunken in strange and unsuitable places. Its head was even more bizarre. 3 eyes of different sizes, arranged without any order, were embedded in a flat face covered in fangs and lacking a bridge of the nose. On top of its head were several fleshy tentacles that kept wriggling and releasing a rotten stench. A strange odor mixed with sulfur, rust, dust, and old blood spread through the air. This was indeed extraordinary. Xiao Yan forced himself to remain calm, but his attempt to hide his disgust was still noticed by Yi Tian. It looks like it has been marinated until the flavor soaked in. You dare look down on my masterpiece? If you do not want it, forget it. What do you lowly ants know about the true essence of demons? This is the perfect appearance of power and the chaotic essence. This 1,000-faced demon eye is still only in its early form, yet it is already enough to make countless demons admire it. You simply do not know quality. In my eyes, those human women are the ugly ones. Yi Tian was so angry that the cloud churned violently, about to withdraw the demon puppet. Wait. I want it. I am confiscating it. Did you not say you did not want it? I did not look carefully just now. Now that I have taken a closer look, oh, it is so handsome that I am almost about to vomit. I truly want it. As Xiao Yan spoke, his soul power swept over it, silently sensing every inch of its structure. Although its appearance was strange, the balance within it was truly perfect. You had better be sincere, Yi Tian snorted. Thinking it over carefully, since this puppet had been prepared to break Su Zhu's Dao heart, the more disgusting it was, the better. Its strength also had to be as great as possible. When the time came, Xiao Yan would send this puppet out and force Su Zhu to fight himself. Within the range Xiao Yan could control, the stronger this puppet became, the better. Under Xiao Yan's control, Su Zhu's memoryless soul fragment let out waves of roars as it was forcefully stuffed into the shell of the 1,000-faced demon eye. Xiao Yan then sealed it with his soul power and handed it over to Yi Tian to nurture properly. Whether your name as a devil can once again shake the 9 realms will depend on it. Xiao Yan looked at Yi Tian with an incomparably serious gaze, making Yi Tian believe him without a doubt. I will definitely raise him into a demon venerable. When the time comes, he will dominate the 9 realms. Once the world learns that this is only one of my boundless incarnations, countless people will surely worship me. Those female demonesses will all follow my lead. I'll take a few thousand female demonesses under my command and enjoy them whenever I please. As Yi Tian spoke, he unknowingly revealed the true thoughts in his heart. Xiao Yan smiled faintly and pushed open the palace doors. Yi Tian, I still need to stay in the immortal demon ancient realm for some time. You may go for now. But don't forget, above lust hangs a blade. Xiao Yan teased him. I am a devil. What blade? I fear no blade. Yi Tian transformed into a purple-black cloud and vanished from Xiao Yan's sight in an instant. You fear no blade, yet the one blade you should fear most is the gentle blade. Bu Zhan chuckled softly. Xiao Yan murmured to himself, then ended his seclusion and walked out of the grand hall. As soon as he stepped outside, he saw Yi Beijing not far away, surrounded by mountains and water. She wore a simple and elegant white dress, its hem spread casually over the green stone like a freshly blooming water lily. Her head tilted slightly, and by her hairline was a small pink flower of unknown name, delicate and fresh, making her snow-white skin appear even more luminous. What drew the eye most was her pair of bare, tender feet, gently dipped into the clear pond water. From time to time, she stirred the surface lazily. In the pond, dozens of colorful koi with faintly glowing scales seemed to be drawn by invisible threads, circling gently around her feet and brushing against them. Whenever her toes unintentionally swept across the water, the koi would gather happily, stirring up rings of delicate ripples. "Xiao Yan, my dear husband, you finally came out." Hearing movement, Yi Beijing suddenly turned back. A dazzling smile instantly bloomed across her face, pure and unstained by dust. Xiao Yan looked at this peerlessly beautiful woman. Though she had cultivated countless charming arts, she gave off a feeling as clear as a lotus. "Was I in seclusion for a long time?" Xiao Yan asked softly. This time, his seclusion had not taken much time. "My dear husband, with so many wives, you should understand this better than anyone. To someone who loves another, one day apart feels like 10,000 years." She pointed at the koi in the water, her voice crisp like pearls falling onto a jade plate. "Look at them. Aren't they adorable? They seem to like me very much. Everyone likes me, yet only you refuse to like me." As soon as she finished speaking, Yi Beijing's figure appeared beside Xiao Yan. She hooked her arm around his and pulled him to the edge of the lake. As she spoke, she picked up a handful of crystal-clear fish food from a small jade glass container beside her. The feed gave off a faint fragrance, and she enthusiastically handed it to Xiao Yan. "Here, you try feeding them too." Xiao Yan took the jade container. The fish immediately gathered around. Following her words, he gently scattered a small pinch of feed over the water. The surface instantly erupted with movement. Fish tails slapped against the water, splashing everywhere and forming a small whirlpool as they greedily fought over the food. Xiao Yan quietly watched the plump koi, as though he had realized something. "It seems my dear husband has understood." Yi Beijing smiled. "Sometimes, it is better not to see through things. Once you do, this 9 realms is no different from this lake." The fish look up and see only the reflection of the sky on the water's surface. They blindly eat and gather strength, hoping to leap over the so-called dragon gate, transform into true dragons, soar through the heavens, and escape this tiny stretch of water. Yet they do not know that once they leave the lake, they will suffocate and die. In the end, they are nothing more than playthings for those so-called higher beings to watch. Yi Beijing spoke with a smile, as though she had already seen through everything, yet still enjoyed being part of it. She stepped forward and followed Xiao Yan's gaze toward the koi in the lake. The fish were still swimming in ignorance, fighting over the food. Sunlight passed through the water and refracted across their colorful scales, creating an illusory glow. Reflected on the surface was the distorted shadow of the towering palace, like an existence looking down upon all living beings. "Enough. There is no need to think too much. What do you plan to do next?" "I will accompany you." Yi Beijing gently patted Xiao Yan's shoulder. "I plan to try tempering my body through the method of the primordial spirit and push my physical body into the ancient realm. Only then will I be able to fight Su Zhu." With the annihilation flame as his core, Xiao Yan's cultivation methods and techniques were already powerful enough. If his physical strength could rise another level, the combat power he could display would be completely different. What about that unfamiliar woman carrying a child? Do you plan to ignore her? Yi Beijing blinked her large eyes as she asked. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. If he cultivated, he naturally could not protect Yu Shi fully. Even inside this myriad Saint Hall, as long as those Chongmisi wished it, he felt they could appear from anywhere. Do you think she can survive? Can the origin god child be born safely? Xiao Yan threw the question back to Yi Beijing. No. At the very least, the 9 realms cannot tolerate it. Yi Beijing shook her head without hesitation. For existences like the origin god clan, what they have angered is not any one being, but the rules themselves. Hearing this, Xiao Yan frowned. Yi Beijing's words were indeed reasonable. His own origin god clone had been the beginning. Hua Kan also knew how powerful the origin god clan was. He knew they were a race capable of changing a world. That was why he wanted to borrow your bloodline. But what was the result? You lost that origin god clone. As for this pregnant woman carrying an origin god child, I mean, if I were Changmisi. As Yi Beijing spoke, her voice grew quieter. Her brows furrowed slightly. Xiao Yan also felt it would not be anything good, and his expression became slightly grave. I would strike the moment the child was born. At that time, one corpse would take 3 lives. Only after a brief pause did Yi Beijing say this in a low voice. Xiao Yan understood what she meant. The 3rd life referred to him, who had formed a karmic connection with them. Although this was only the worst possible guess, Yi Beijing's words were not unreasonable. Moreover, Changmisi had already appeared and attacked an origin god, so this possibility was extremely high. So there is no need to force the continuation of the origin god bloodline. Right now, neither you nor I can accomplish that. Everything Yi Beijing said was only to make Xiao Yan let go of this matter, and also to give him some expectation of what might happen. You are right. Xiao Yan nodded. You have thought it through? Yi Beijing asked. I have thought it through, Xiao Yan replied. Do you need me to act? If you cannot bring yourself to do it. Yi Beijing meant that if they wanted to prevent future trouble, it would be better to strike first and cut the roots clean. Xiao Yan glanced at Yi Beijing. Since that child can be considered my descendant, whether the 9 realms can tolerate them or not is up to me to decide. At that moment, Xiao Yan had already begun walking forward. Under his illusory realm soul power, no matter how this place changed, everything appeared transparently before his eyes. Yi Beijing watched Xiao Yan's back. She was not surprised. Rather, it seemed as though she had already known he would answer this way. Is this the confidence of the Venerable One? It really makes people like you more and more. Yi Beijing murmured, then ran barefoot after him. At the same time, Xiao Yan transmitted his voice to Elder Zhan inside the Zichen Void Spirit Tower. At this moment, he seemed to finally understand the purpose of the small world that had appeared on the 16th floor. Elder Zhan, can I send living beings into the small world on the 16th floor? Xiao Yan asked. Yes. But once they are sent in, they cannot come out through the tower again. Elder Zhan's voice sounded in Xiao Yan's mind. Only entry, no exit? Xiao Yan frowned. In that case, it would be equivalent to imprisoning Yu Shi. After the small world fully takes shape and becomes a true world of its own, they will be able to leave through the world tree. The small world on the 16th floor is real. It is not an illusory world. Elder Zhan explained once more. Hearing this, Xiao Yan understood everything. To be precise, he was currently the master of that world. It could only be entered through the Zichen Void Spirit Tower. In other words, once inside, it would also be absolutely safe. Thank you for the reminder, Elder Zhan. I understand. Xiao Yan replied. For Yu Shi, and for the Origin God clan, this was the best foundation. They could hide their strength and bide their time on that blue star. Xiao Yan returned to the Grand Hall. Before sending her inside, he still had to ask for Yu Shi's opinion instead of acting on his own. When he returned to the Myriad Saint Hall, Yu Shi was sitting inside. Yi Beijing had arranged a soft bed for her to rest on. Yu Shi's complexion did not look good. Xiao Yan stepped forward and cupped his fists slightly. Senior Yu Shi, are you feeling unwell? Why is your complexion so poor? Xiao Yan asked. Although the Origin God clan is powerful, giving birth to new life is extremely difficult. Most Origin God mothers eventually die together with their children, Yi Beijing said from the side. It should be because the child inside me has an extremely pure bloodline, so the reaction is stronger. Yu Shi sounded somewhat weak. So you need star power to nourish yourself, correct? Xiao Yan analyzed. Yu Shi nodded gently. If there is star power, perhaps I will feel a little better. Senior Yi Beijing, I may need to borrow the star power of the immortal demon ancient realm. I will choose stars without living beings and only take 1/3 of their star power. I will not cause the stars to perish. Xiao Yan turned to Yi Beijing and cupped his fists. It was not only Yu Shi who needed star power. He also needed the countless stars of the immortal demon ancient realm. No matter, no matter. Yi Beijing waved her hand without the slightest concern. Only then did Xiao Yan look back at Yu Shi and slowly speak. Senior Yu Shi, right now, I fear the 9 realms cannot tolerate you and your child. I have a place that can ensure your safety. Are you willing to go? When Yu Shi heard this, light flickered in her eyes. It was clear she still did not completely trust him. This was likely a lingering effect from the time she had spent in the 9 heavens divine realm by Huacan's side. I will not force you. But Senior should understand better than I do how the vast world was destroyed. I once drank the blood of the Origin God clan's ancestor and possessed an Origin God clone. I only wish to continue this bloodline. I have no other motive. Xiao Yan cupped his fists. His gaze was clear and sincere. Yu Shi paused. Do not worry. He is the venerable one of the Shanhai World. He is different from that hypocrite Huacan. Besides, did the child in your belly not also use his essence? Even a vicious tiger does not eat its own cubs. At such moments, Yi Beijing was like Xiao Yan's virtuous helper. She would always step forward. I believe you. I will obey the venerable one's arrangement. Yu Shi nodded. Her gaze was already different from before. Now that she was pregnant, protecting her child was a person's instinct. The place you are going has no living beings. You will be very lonely there, but it can protect your safety. Are you willing? Xiao Yan explained the situation. Once she entered, she would not be able to come out for a short time, but it could become the best place for the Origin God clan to reproduce and survive. As Xiao Yan spoke, Yi Beijing looked at him curiously. What world is that? Why do I not know about it? Xiao Yan did not answer Yi Beijing. He only looked at Yu Shi and waited for her answer. As long as my child and I can survive, loneliness is nothing. I will follow the venerable one's arrangement. Yu Shi nodded. Since she had chosen to trust him, there was no reason to retreat. Xiao Yan then looked toward Yi Beijing. What do you mean? This is my hall. Are you trying to drive me out? That is too much, Xiao Yan. Yi Beijing puffed up her cheeks unhappily. Actually, Miss Yi suits this outfit very well. It is elegant and beautiful. Please help me to the end. This is my little secret. I am not intentionally hiding it. Xiao Yan first praised her a few times, then revealed a pleading expression. Fine, fine. Hearing a few words of praise from you is truly not easy. I will avoid suspicion. After Yi Beijing finished speaking, her figure instantly disappeared. Xiao Yan's illusory realm soul power spread out with a rumble, making sure there was no aura locked onto this place. Although, like Ling Su, there would be no fluctuation from the Zichen Void Spirit Tower, it was still better to be cautious. Xiao Yan walked up to Yu Shi and gently placed a finger on the space between her brows. In the next instant, Yu Shi's figure vanished from the grand hall. All right, Senior Yi. Xiao Yan withdrew his soul power, and Yi Beijing's figure reappeared. When you need someone, you call her Miss Yi. Once the matter is done, you call her Senior. Do you have any conscience at all? Yi Beijing was immediately displeased. Senior is a respectful title. You have helped me so much, so I must treat you with proper courtesy. I truly do not know how to thank you. Xiao Yan cupped his fists. As soon as the words left his mouth, he regretted them. Yi Beijing pulled down the strap on her shoulder, revealing a fragrant shoulder. Offering yourself to me is the best way to thank me. Come. I am also willing to be with you. But before she could finish, Yi Beijing's body softened and fell toward Xiao Yan's arms. Yet in the next instant, she missed him completely. Miss Yi, my time is tight. I must immediately absorb star power and cultivate my body. Only Xiao Yan's soul transmission remained. Yi Beijing pouted. She was so stunning and talented, yet she still could not move him. Could it be that only that method could enter his heart? Even if I cannot dual cultivate with him, no matter what, I must leave a place in his heart that belongs only to me. Yi Beijing murmured inwardly. She was not angry. Her figure disappeared from the hall, and she continued following Xiao Yan. On a nearly ruined star with only half of it left, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged. Star power surged continuously into his body. For the Origin God clan to cultivate, They must devour such vast amounts of star power. It would be strange if they were not wiped out. If they took only what was needed, it might have been fine. But if they destroyed stars without hesitation for cultivation, then the vast world's destruction must have happened for this reason. While Xiao Yan absorbed star power, Yi Beijing stayed beside him. Senior Yi Beijing, speaking of it, the Origin God clan and your Qimi clan truly have quite a deep connection, Xiao Yan slowly said. Yi Beijing raised her brows. My dear Xiao Yan, what do you mean? Do you also think the destruction of the Origin God clan was caused by the Qimi clan? Xiao Yan remained calm and silent. According to the information he had received, even his Origin God clone had been seized from the Qimi alien clan. Could the Qimi clan truly have had no involvement? Xiao Yan opened his eyes. The star power of this star had already been completely absorbed. He looked at Yi Beijing. He had actually wanted to ask this before, but at that time, he and Yi Beijing had not been as familiar as they were now. When a world collapses, just like when the sea's meridians rupture, the Qimi clan would naturally go and take a share. But if you are asking whether the fall of the vast world and the destruction of the Origin God clan had much to do with the Qimi clan, then the answer is no. It was more that they themselves had reached the end of their path. Yi Beijing spoke slowly and calmly. She did not explain too much, but she was probably not lying. After all, what she said was indeed true. After the vast world was destroyed and the Origin God clan fell apart, Xiao Yan had seen many Origin God corpses. Almost all of them had been refined into puppets, skinned, drained of their blood, used as medicinal materials, or turned into ancient skeleton decorations. The Qimi clan merely possessed their bodies through soul seizing. They had only taken a share of the spoils. If blame were assigned in that way, then the entire 9 realms bore responsibility. Before the vast world was destroyed, far too many predators had gone there to plunder. As the saying went, when a wall falls, everyone pushes it. Once the great trend had formed, no one could stop it. Hearing this, Xiao Yan let out a long sigh. The Origin God bloodline now flowed within his body, and he was cultivating with it at this very moment. If he truly managed to push his original body into the ancient realm and purify the bloodline within him, then at that time, he would also truly become an Origin God. When that happened, would the punishment that descended upon the vast world also fall upon him? Xiao Yan absorbed the power of several stars in succession, but he discovered that the strength inside his body had become completely full. He could no longer continue absorbing it. After all, he was not a true Origin God. The star power he could devour was limited. If he wanted his original body to break through into the ancient realm, it could not be achieved by endlessly devouring star power. Although he possessed the Origin God bloodline, he was ultimately very different. There was not the slightest hope of breaking through to the ancient realm. It was not that Xiao Yan had given up. Rather, he had seen the result clearly. No matter how hard he worked, he could not reach that shore. In that case, persistence had no meaning. But breaking into the ancient realm was extremely important to Xiao Yan. In truth, you already knew this, didn't you? Even if I possess the Origin God bloodline, I cannot truly become an Origin God. Xiao Yan looked at Yi Beijing, who appeared as though she had no worries at all. She followed beside him like a little maid. Why must you become an Origin God? My dear Xiao Yan, what kind of angry words are those? Is the Venerable One not stronger than an Origin God? This is merely one realm of the physical body. Yi Beijing spoke in a soft tone, yet she still seemed even more confident in Xiao Yan than Xiao Yan himself. I want to go to the Mitian Great Realm again, Xiao Yan said, turning his head. He had gone to the Mitian Great Realm before and had passed through the Earth Palace, but he had never gone to the Heavenly Palace. Back then, Xiao Yan had gained great benefits there. Though it was dangerous, it also held many opportunities. The Mitian Great Realm? You still remember that place? In truth, the Heavenly Palace has long existed in name only. It is nothing more than an empty shell. Yi Beijing shook her head. Could it be that the Mitian Great Realm was always an empty shell, and everything I experienced when I went there before was arranged by you, Miss Yi? Xiao Yan seemed to think of something. He still vaguely remembered that in the Mitian Great Realm, Yi Beijing's clone, Yu Yan, had relentlessly chased him and used every possible method to charm him. I did use some methods, but I absolutely never intended to harm you, my dear husband. The sun and moon can bear witness. Yi Beijing chuckled and did not deny it. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. Now he was once again stuck in a difficult position. His next step in cultivation seemed to have lost direction again. Forget it. There is no need to be too fixated. If I cannot break through, I cannot force it. Xiao Yan let out a soft sigh. If he could not find a method to break through, then even if his current strength was insufficient, he still planned to set out and return to Xinxi. My dear husband, are you planning to leave? Yi Beijing asked. Since I have no fate with further cultivation here, then even if my current strength is lacking, there are still things I must face. Xinxi will surely have help waiting. Her Majesty the Queen has paid far too great a price, yet she still could not reverse fate. Even if I know the ending, so what? Xiao Yan's gaze was calm like an ancient well. He appeared extremely composed, as though he had seen through everything. Thank you for everything this time, Miss Yi. As for the fate of Xinxi and the immortal demon ancient realm, leave it to us. If fate allows it, and if Xinxi wins, I will come find Miss Yi again for a conversation. Xiao Yan cupped his fists, as though he had already prepared to leave. Yi Beijing immediately grew anxious and reached out to grab Xiao Yan. Although I am not from the Origin God clan, I do have several memories that will be useful to you. Take a look first. Hearing this, Xiao Yan, who had seemed determined to leave, immediately showed a conflicted expression. The memories are absolutely real. My dear husband, you may rest assured. Also, there is no need to test me anymore. If my dear husband needs something, just say it directly. Yi Beijing covered her mouth and secretly laughed. Xiao Yan awkwardly coughed twice. He had thought there were no flaws in his acting just now. Unexpectedly, Yi Beijing saw through him at a glance. Yi Beijing then lightly tapped the space between her brows, and 3 balls of light floated in front of her. These 3 memories were obtained from the many souls of the Origin God clan. They contain their cultivation techniques. Xiao Yan remained indifferent, appearing as though he did not hold much hope. You can look first. It will not be too late to decide afterward. Yi Beijing pushed the memories in front of Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and nodded. His illusory realm soul power surged out and probed into the first ball of light. His consciousness sank in, and Xiao Yan seemed to transform into a giant standing tall enough to prop up heaven and earth, towering within the boundless sea of stars. His body was enormous beyond imagination, his knotted muscles like endless mountain ranges. The owner of this memory, an unknown origin god, let out a roar that shattered the void. Around his arms, which were as thick as star rings, were several massive chains glowing with the light of galaxies. At the other ends of those chains were several stars of different sizes. The giant exerted his strength. His muscles swelled, and the chains pulled taut, giving off a groan as though they could no longer bear the weight. Those stars were forcibly dragged out of their original orbits. They carved burning trails through the void, colliding with one another and releasing destructive energy storms. He tempered the heart with wind and storm, using the weight of stars to refine the body and trigger the resonance of blood and vitality within. Xiao Yan had already used this method before seeing this memory. If his original body followed this path, perhaps there was a chance of success, but it would require the accumulation of long years. And what Xiao Yan lacked most was time. He could not afford to delay too long for this. Xiao Yan immediately examined the second fragment of memory, shattering the stars 100 times, breaking down before rebuilding. The scene shifted again. Upon a massive vibrant star filled with life, a primordial spirit stood proudly. His gaze was firm, his aura vast and majestic. Yet in the next moment, he raised his huge palm, gathered all the power in his body, and slammed it down fiercely upon the crown of his own head. He shattered the star, and with it, shattered his own ancestral heart. On the path of cultivation, this was indeed a way to constantly surpass oneself. What it required was the courage to start over again, time after time. Only after shattering the star 100 times had he finally broken through that barrier. Compared with the number of times Xiao Yan had once shattered his own stars, this was almost nothing. But Xiao Yan understood clearly that his current breakthrough into the ancestral realm had relied on the earth core power he obtained when breaking through the fifth star. Once he shattered his ancestral realm star, breaking through again would require a great amount of time. The price was the same. This second memory was also not suitable for him. Still, although these memories could not be copied directly, they were giving Xiao Yan ideas about how he should cultivate from this point onward. The third memory was the most tragic, and also the most insane. In a space completely twisted and torn apart by violent star power, the figure of a primordial spirit flickered in and out of sight. He was like an out-of-control black hole, desperately devouring the destructive energy torrents created after several nearby stars were forcibly detonated. His body swelled like an inflated balloon. His skin split open inch by inch. Before his golden blood could even flow out, it was evaporated by the terrifying energy. His muscle fibers snapped with painful cries, and his bones gave off a chilling cracking sound. Solid energy light poured from his 7 orifices, and his entire body seemed like a superstar on the verge of exploding. It was not that he did not know his limit. He was deliberately surpassing it. He was actively guiding this energy, powerful enough to kill him in an instant, to strike the invisible ancient barrier inside his body. Not enough. Still not enough. Break for me. The roar of his soul sounded insignificant within the energy storm. He squeezed out the last trace of his will and even detonated part of his own blood essence, creating an even stronger force of attraction to draw more destructive energy into his body. In that instant, his body erupted with a light even more dazzling than the exploding stars around him. It was like the first flash at the birth of the universe itself. Everything was swallowed by white light. The memory ended there, leaving behind endless suspense. Did he succeed? Or did he turn into cosmic dust within that ultimate brilliance? The memory gave no answer. It only left behind that reckless will to seek life through death, deeply branded into Xiao Yan's soul. After returning from the 3 memories, Xiao Yan drew in a cold breath. Although the original God clan possessed a powerful bloodline, their cultivation path was, without exception, a path of surviving through death. Only by doing so could they grasp a faint chance. After seeing the memories of these 3 primordial spirits, Xiao Yan finally felt the gap between them. His former original god clone had been the king of primordial spirits, the son of that king, and possessed the royal bloodline of the original god clan. On the foundation of the supergiant original god, he had comprehended another form of the supergiant true body, and was able to break through to the ancestral realm. As for the rest of the original god clan, they all cultivated through the most extreme and cruel methods, even throwing their lives aside just for a chance to break through. Were you able to find a method from them? Yi Beiqing tilted her head and looked at Xiao Yan curiously. Xiao Yan shook his head. These 3 techniques are all illusions to me. They still require a true member of the original god clan to cultivate. If I follow their path and risk my life 9 times out of 10, the disadvantages will outweigh the benefits. There is no hope in it. This was the conclusion Xiao Yan saw. His comprehension was extremely high, so he understood even more clearly that the path of the primordial spirit was not something one could forcefully walk through. If the road could not be opened, then forcing an attack on the ancient barrier would only lead to failure and death. Xiao Yan did not tell Yi Beiqing that his original god clone might still exist. Chang Misi was far too mysterious. He had to remain vigilant at all times. There really is no method. A clone is still only a clone. If it cannot merge with the main body, then it is indeed troublesome, Xiao Yan murmured. The art of fate was powerful, but it still had flaws. His cultivation speed was already not slow, and he was still moving toward the peak. Yet for some reason, even after breaking through to the 5th star, Xiao Yan felt that if he fought Yi Beiqing, he would have almost no chance of victory. It seems I really should say goodbye. Before I leave, may I ask Miss Yi to permit me one thing? Xiao Yan cupped his fists. Although he had refused Yi Beiqing many times, he had never lacked courtesy toward her. From the bottom of his heart, Xiao Yan truly regarded Yi Beiqing as a senior. Although we are not husband and wife in truth, we can still be considered mutually fond of each other. We are already our own people, so why be so polite? Yi Beiqing said with a smile. Xiao Yan smiled awkwardly and did not say much. I would like to exchange blows with Miss Yi once, to see how much strength I currently possess. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he cupped his fists again. Fight me? Of course. I will suppress my strength to the 5th star and fight you. If you can fight me evenly, then dealing with Shuju will be more than enough, Yi Beiqing said with a smile and nodded in agreement. Xiao Yan's expression grew serious as he looked at her. What if you do not suppress your strength? Would I not even have the qualifications to exchange blows with you? The closer one gets to the peak, the more each person has their own strengths within the same realm. There is no absolute superiority. But all of that is still based on both sides being in the same realm, Yi Beiqing answered. Of course, what I believe may not apply to you. His Excellency's power could naturally cross realms. But for me, if I do not suppress my cultivation, then you truly have no chance of winning, my dear. Yi Beiqing did not hide the truth from Xiao Yan. What Xiao Yan needed now was the truth. She wanted him to clearly recognize himself, because his request to fight Yi Beiqing was no different from asking whether he would have the strength to fight if he truly met Shuju's real body. There is no need for us to fight here. After all, sparring will cause exhaustion, and because we cannot go all out, it will always differ from a real battle. It cannot be considered a true exchange, Yi Beiqing said, shaking her head. She explained that sparring would be useless. A real battle had to be fought without holding back, unlike sparring, where both sides would always have reservations. We can enter the arena of the Chaos Divine Battle through Shu Yu. That place is no different from reality, but any damage or exhaustion there is not real. Only a battle there can be restored more accurately. I will contact Yi and ask him to arrange it. After Yi Beiqing finished speaking, Shu Yu appeared in her palm. She sent out a voice transmission, but after a long while, there was no reply. TCH. He must be in seclusion. Since he is ignoring me. Yi Beiqing puffed out her cheeks, looking somewhat cute. Perhaps he is angry because Miss Yi spoke a little too freely earlier. Let me try. Xiao Yan first gave her an excuse in advance, so that if he truly responded immediately, she would have a way to explain it. Then Xiao Yan also sent Yi a voice transmission. Just as he expected, Yi immediately replied to him. It is done. We can go in now. Xiao Yan nodded. Yi Beiqing's eyelids twitched, and she curled her lips. Damn it. He really is treating us differently. Do not let me find out who he is, or I will definitely repay him by offering myself to him. Xiao Yan's face immediately darkened. Why did the words, offering myself to him, sound like the cruelest form of revenge? Xiao Yan closed his eyes. His consciousness entered the Chaos Divine Battle platform through Shu Yu. This time, the surroundings were empty, with no spectators. Yi Beiqing's figure soon appeared opposite him. She still looked like a delicate and weak woman, but the moment she truly stood across from him, Xiao Yan felt as though he were facing a great enemy. That pressure faintly radiated from Yi Beiqing's body. As you wish, my dear. Come. I will go all out, Yi Beiqing said seriously. Xiao Yan sighed inwardly. There was indeed a reason why Yi Beiqing was favored by so many. She was clearly powerful, yet she still gave Xiao Yan the most basic respect. Thank you, Miss Yi. Xiao Yan cupped his fists. Hee, you call me so sweetly. I almost cannot bear to beat you. Yi Beiqing smiled happily. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed. His figure suddenly vanished from where he stood. When he appeared again, he was already behind Yi Beiqing. The nirvana flame in his hand transformed into countless red rays and blasted toward her. Yi Beiqing remained calm. She did not even turn around. A layer of 5-colored light simply appeared around her. The nirvana flame, which contained an extremely destructive force, was reflected back the instant it touched that light. It struck Xiao Yan himself instead, blasting him backward and injuring him. Xiao Yan frowned slightly. He naturally knew that Yi Beiqing possessed such an ability, but he did not know how to break through it. However, no rule in existence could be perfect. There had to be a flaw, a moment of weakness, or a method to break it. And to find that method, he could only test it with all his strength. The 5-colored light curtain was like the most perfect mirror, mercilessly reflecting the destructive power he poured out and forcing him back again and again, leaving him in a miserable state. The power of rules reflects all attacks. Xiao Yan's gaze sharpened like that of a hawk, locking onto the seemingly thin yet unbreakable five-colored halo. Perfect and flawless? No. Everything in the world had a weakness. Everything had a limit. Since he had chosen to challenge it, he could not give up lightly. The red light erupting from the nirvana flame rose once again. Xiao Yan used all the fire origins in his body and poured them completely into the nirvana flame. The flickering flame compressed again, turning into something like fine threads, yet each thread contained terrifying destructive power. Boom, boom, boom. Every collision unleashed a terrifying impact, but the platform of the Chaos Divine battle remained completely unmoved. Xiao Yan's body was thrown back again and again within the exploding light. His clothes were torn apart, and his skin was burned black. He was like a tireless madman, climbing up again and again, charging forward again and again, his eyes burning with unyielding flames and a stubborn obsession to find the flaw. Yi Beiqing remained untouched, her clothes fluttering like an immortal fairy standing apart from the world. She watched Xiao Yan's almost self-destructive attacks. Her eyes were calm, carrying a trace of approval that was difficult to notice, but even more so, they carried scrutiny. She did not take the initiative to attack. It was as if she were waiting for Xiao Yan to truly touch the essence of that barrier, or to give up. What is the core of this rule reflection? Is it force transfer? Is it reversal? Or is it a higher level of space or energy law? If he thought too much, he would lose the meaning of the nirvana flame. No matter what rule it was, he only needed to understand one thing. Every rule had a limit. What Xiao Yan had to do was break that limit and push the nirvana flame to its peak. Of course, Yi Beiqing had not attacked him. That alone meant she was already giving him room. Thus, Xiao Yan decided to use the nirvana flame to condense a fire lotus. His body spread out like the character, his arms opening wide. Across the entire chaos platform, countless red rays began to flicker. Only nirvana. Only the ultimate nirvana could break through this absolute defense. A crazy and decisive thought exploded in Xiao Yan's mind. He no longer hesitated. The vast source energy in his body surged toward his arms like a broken dam. This time, he no longer tried to attack from the outside. Instead, he poured all of his power, along with his unyielding will, into the core origin of the nirvana flame. Condense! Xiao Yan let out a low roar. His hands formed an empty embrace before his chest, palms facing each other. Countless red rays wildly gathered in front of him. Controlling the terrifying power of the nirvana flame was almost impossible. The reason Xiao Yan dared to do this was because of the further evolution of the Zichen Void Spirit Art. Only by relying on its balancing power did he have a chance to succeed. One red ray after another truly began to overlap and fuse. As the red light continuously merged, its color actually began to change. Within the flickering red glow, a wisp of deep, abyss-like black appeared, like a black hole. The moment it appeared, its terrifying power spread outward. Xiao Yan's left arm was torn apart on the spot, blood and flesh scattering. The pain nearly made him grind his teeth to pieces, but he still did not give up. In this chaos battlefield, where the price was not real, Xiao Yan also wanted to see just how far he could use the nirvana flame. The red rays continued to merge. Xiao Yan's body collapsed inch by inch. The flesh on both his arms burst apart. If this continued, he would certainly fail. His body could not withstand the destructive force produced by the fusion. Even with the Zichen Void Spirit Art, it was still not enough. This showed that Xiao Yan had already pushed the flame beyond the range he could control. But only by doing so did he have a chance to break the situation. No matter what, he had to try. Since his physical strength was not enough, Xiao Yan decisively raised his hand and slammed it against his forehead, directly shattering his ancestral realm stars. 9 stars shattered one after another. A terrifying physical power erupted from Xiao Yan's body, helping him complete the condensation of the nirvana flame. His will was like a blade, forcibly cutting the vast torrent of flame into hundreds and thousands of thin energy streams. Each stream was as fine as a thread, yet each contained pure nirvana force, violent and restless. His 2 palms were like the grinding stones of heaven and earth, carrying an irresistible force as they pressed inward. The second strand of black nirvana flame appeared. Then came the third, the fourth, the fifth. But the price was that even after shattering his stars, Xiao Yan's body still continued to collapse inch by inch. His bones gave off sounds of unbearable strain. Xiao Yan suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood. His body shook violently. At the moment of fusion, his body began to fall apart. The flesh on both arms was mangled, and the sound of bones breaking could be clearly heard. This act seemed insane, but in truth, it was also a breakthrough on his path of flame mastery. He really might be able to break open my five-colored mirror, Yi Beiqing quietly said as she watched Xiao Yan. The red light across the sky madly gathered. After overlapping and merging, it turned into black streaks. The sound of breaking bones was sharp and piercing, but the madness burning in Xiao Yan's eyes surpassed all pain. When he fused the seventh strand of black nirvana flame, it was already Xiao Yan's limit. Every additional strand he fused forced his body to withstand a violent impact. Blood poured out like a spring. Beneath where he stood, golden blood was scattered everywhere. His entire body looked like a glazed statue about to shatter, supported only by an unyielding will. Was he really going this far? This was only a sparring match. There was no need to risk his life like this. But because this was only a sparring match, he had to risk everything to have even a chance. How could he not gamble with his life? At least here, whether he lost or died, it would all be false. Any exhaustion would also be unreal. That was why Xiao Yan wanted to see where his true limit lay. He wanted to know how far he could go when facing Yi Beiqing. Yi Beiqing's originally calm eyes finally flashed with genuine surprise. If it were His Excellency's personality, he absolutely would not be like this. From the time she had known him, when he was calm, he was like His Excellency. But when he went mad, he was like Si Yi Zun. Could the rumor be true? How could that be possible? Was he the reincarnation after two souls had fused? Yi Beiqing quietly watched him, a strange light flickering in her beautiful eyes. You are taking far too long to prepare this move. If this were a real enemy, who would let you do this? The red light filling the sky still flickered madly. Only the 7 black rays in front of Xiao Yan danced and pulsed with a rhythm that seemed capable of destroying even the void. Xiao Yan brought his hands together. The 7 strands of black nirvana flame intertwined. The violent energy forced him to activate the Zichen Void Spirit Art and suppress it by force. Finally, a strange black lotus slowly took shape. But at this moment, Xiao Yan's body could no longer bear the burden. All the flesh on his arms had collapsed, leaving only 2 pale, skeletal hands. A nirvana fire lotus. At this moment, Xiao Yan felt that nirvana suited it far better than Buddha's wrath, so he gave it that name. He ignored his continuously collapsing body and used his skeletal hands to hold that orange-black lotus, the black fire lotus that carried all his hope and seemed capable of destroying all existence. Then he gently pushed it forward. The fire lotus flew slowly, but it was as though the entire chaos battlefield had been enveloped by it. Within the originally indestructible chaos battlefield, space itself began to ripple. The Nirvana Fire Lotus brought the power of the Nirvana Flame to its absolute extreme. In an instant, it spread outward and turned into a black vortex, sweeping through everything. The destruction of the Nirvana Fire Lotus was not instantaneous. It was continuous, like a tornado, enveloping the entire chaos battlefield. Yi Beiqing's 5-colored mirror appeared again. Her body remained completely still. Even the special space of the chaos battlefield, which was supposed to be indestructible, showed slight distortion under this attack. Here, the true might of Xiao Yan's strike could not fully be felt. In the outside world, none of the 9 realms would be able to withstand it. It would certainly cause the void to collapse. Any star realm or space would be annihilated in an instant. Under the terrifying clash of energy, the mirror-like surface of the 5-colored barrier began to emit sharp cracking sounds, like crystal repeatedly struck by a heavy hammer. For the first time, tiny cracks spread across that flawless mirror like a spiderweb. Yi Beiqing's pupils suddenly contracted. She could clearly feel that the defensive rule she was so proud of was being forcibly torn open by brute force that had surpassed its limit. The nirvana intent contained within the black fire lotus carried a domineering power that ignored rules and ended all things. Finally, with an earth-shaking crack, the five-colored mirror covering Yi Beiqing shattered like a piece of broken glass art. Countless five-colored fragments were instantly swallowed by the black nirvana flame. At the center of the annihilation storm, Yi Beiqing's figure was forced back half a step for the first time. Her soft hair was blown wildly backward by the violent energy, and her clothes snapped in the wind. The calm, fairy-like composure that had always been on her face finally disappeared, replaced by a trace of seriousness. Xiao Yan had truly broken Yi Beiqing's five-colored mirror. But the destructive power had not yet dispersed. At that instant, Yi Beiqing's eyes suddenly changed. It was a look of absolute control, a will that stood above matter itself. She did not even raise her hand. With only a slight movement of thought, an invisible and formless power descended, precisely enveloping Xiao Yan, whose body was already close to collapse. Xiao Yan felt his body suddenly stiffen. It was as if 10,000 invisible threads had pierced through his skin, muscles, bones, and even deep into his soul. The power of possession. He tried to control his body, only to find that his limbs and bones no longer obeyed him at all. He wanted to raise his arm, but it moved like a rusty puppet joint, making stiff, jerking motions before finally freezing in a strange position. A storm rose in Xiao Yan's heart. This was the same possession power of the Qimi clan, but what Yi Beiqing displayed was on a completely different level. Her power was not a forceful invasion, nor was it a crude suppression. It was assimilation. Under that extreme restraint, Xiao Yan frantically thought, trying to understand the essence of this terrifying power. It was as though this space, this world itself, had become an extension of her will. I am not fighting against her. I am fighting against the entire world. Her will is the rule. Her thoughts are commands. My resistance is like a drop of water trying to change the direction of the sea. Do you feel it, my dear? Yi Beiqing's voice sounded directly in Xiao Yan's mind. It was calm and unwavering, yet carried the majesty of one who ruled over everything. She did not even move from where she stood. She simply looked quietly at Xiao Yan, who had been nailed in place by that invisible power. It was as if she were admiring a newly completed work of art. In the next instant, the power of the Nirvana Fire Lotus swept back toward Xiao Yan and swallowed him. At that moment, it no longer seemed to recognize Xiao Yan as its master. Xiao Yan tried to use his own possession power to resist, but the gap between them was far too great. He had no chance at all. What powerful possession force! Xiao Yan was stunned. Soon, his consciousness was engulfed by the tide of flames. When he woke again, he had already left the chaos battlefield and returned to reality. Everything he had just experienced felt like a dream. Yi Beiqing also slowly opened her eyes and looked at Xiao Yan with a smile. How did it feel, my dear? Yi Beiqing asked. Xiao Yan immediately cupped his fists. Like an ant trying to shake a great tree. I am simply not Miss Ye's opponent. I fear that even when I broke through your defense earlier, Miss Yi was still holding back. Xiao Yan smiled bitterly. In truth, he had already expected this result before the battle. If someone ranked within the top 200 of the Chaos Divine battle did not possess this level of combat strength, Xiao Yan would have found that strange instead. The five-colored mirror was only a simple defensive method. Her true ultimate power was the possession force that could instantly control everything about an enemy.